What is going on, everybody? It is episode 391 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and if you saw the before the episode shot from the PTZ camera, you know that Mary is out of town. She is recording an episode of Alex Stein tonight in Texas. She's also going to be on Drinking Bros the day after, so be on the lookout for both of those. So, like a member of the DIA, I've pulled people from different branches of the Timcast government to help me out today. Straight in front of me, sitting where Mary normally sits. Introduce yourself, sir.
Why, hello. I like this chair. This is the first time I get to sit in this chair, and it's by far the best chair. So the two guys that I'm looking at right now, just know that you guys have the lesser chairs. But hey, I'm glad to be here. We're talking a lot of stuff, like a lot of streaming stuff today, which is kind of like my realm, my world that I know of. So I'm excited to talk about it. But I should actually tell people who I am.
Yeah, who the hell are you?
My name is Kellen. I am on Pop Culture from time to time. I do the background behind the scenes stuff for Timcast IRL. Dr. Phil, number one Dr. Phil fan. That's me.
I didn't know that.
The number one Dr. Phil fan.
This amazing video where they do like the Minecraft videos where they have Biden, Trump, and Obama all hanging out. And there's this one where they go to Buffalo Wild Wings and Dr. Phil is
No
the
way.
waiter.
Oh, you got to send me that one.
It's incredible. Yeah.
You got to send me that one.
To my right, introduce yourself, sir.
No chair is the lesser chair when you're the Lord of the Discord. So I just got to put that out there.
The what?
Lord of the Discord, if you haven't heard.
Smoke.
I'm Chris Bertman. I'm a writer for Timcast.
How you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
And cult leader.
Cult leader, yes. Yes, sir.
How's that going for you?
Taking a little breather.
I've been rewatching the show The Following, which is about cults.
Yeah.
So you should go watch that if you're looking for pointers. James Purefoy makes a fantastic cult leader. You might be able to get some tips from him.
All right, I'll make a note of it.
Perfect. And to my left.
What's up, it's Surge.com. Nice to be here.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. I'm excited.
What were you doing earlier? You were editing Culture War clips?
Yes. Tim is unfortunately sick at the moment, so we didn't have a IRL show yesterday.
We all know that he really just wanted Juneteenth off.
Well, I mean, I was working. I'm the only African American here, so I should be really offended. I'm not.
You could have had the day off.
Yeah, I should have, but I didn't hear about it. Just like Juneteenth, I just didn't hear about it in time. Right? Sure. Likely story.
We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. The ongoing saga of the misinformation of Andrew Tate, meaning that you can never get any full facts down when you're talking about this guy, it continues because Andrew Tate has in fact been indicted by the Romanian government on charges of human trafficking, R-word, and various other charges. So we are going to get into that. We're going to talk about the fact that Meghan Markle, after yesterday's discussion in which Bill Simmons called her a grifter, is being accused of what they call faking podcasts. And then in the chat earlier, people had a very good question. They said, how the hell does somebody fake a podcast? Well, we're going to get into that. I think the language on these articles is a little bit hyperbolic, but it's still very interesting, so we'll talk about that. We are also going to talk about Amouranth, who has jumped to Kick, but we're going to talk about Kick in general because it's making a big ploy. It's making a big play to kind of take over for Twitch because Twitch is kind of a crapshoot right now, so we're going to discuss that. We got a bunch of other stuff. We're also going to talk about how the Oscars are getting absolutely roasted by the artistic community for their new rules regarding inclusivity in regards to Best Picture nominations. So we've got that. We got a bunch of stuff at the start of the show. So if you guys are ready, we will just get right into it. I'm going to go through one at a time. Serge, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Kellen, are you ready?
I'm trying to sign up for Kick right now. And once I do, I will let everyone know my username because I'm pretty stoked about this. But yeah, let's go.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Bertman.
Yeah, I guess why not?
Okay, sure. Why not? All right, guys. First things first, I got some announcements. I do want to let everybody know, if you did not see it yesterday, there is a trailer for Kraven the Hunter. First thoughts, the dialogue is rough in this one, guys. It is very, very, very rough. It has tones of Morbius, and I don't know if anybody here saw Morbius, but it has very, very strong Morbius tones. Like, there was a lot of heavy rewrites in the trailer for this, so be warned, if you want to go see it, it's going to sound, they're going to have to do better with trailers 2 and beyond, because I just didn't find anything all that super impressive about this. I do kind of enjoy the fact that most of the Sony superhero movies, they seem like these glorious throwbacks to the early 2000s when things were a lot less, not cynical, because it's still the annoying anti-hero story, but it just seems like it's from a time forgotten when it comes to these types of movies. Like, they're going back to basics. It's what I loved about the first Venom movie. I don't know if anybody here saw the first Venom movie, but I know a lot of people think fondly of it in comparison to a lot of the other Sony properties. So go check out that trailer. It is worth a look, and let us know what you think in the comments section. Also, you should know that Gal Gadot is out as Wonder Woman. That's very sad. I know.
That is sad.
I know, right? She basically says that 6 months ago, she's no longer under contract to play Wonder Woman. She's got money. She's going to be making her own projects so she can indulge herself in her own work.
Who was it that, so I remember someone was saying that the current day Marvel stars are the celebrities, right? Robert Downey Jr., I mean, obviously we know here he is a celebrity, but a lot of his fans and the people that love him the most, right? Iron Man is the celebrity, not the guy that plays it. So I wonder if that's why Marvel has a leg up in this kind of like cape war.
I mean, not anymore.
There's just so much turnover in DC.
Yeah. You mean because the characters in Marvel are the bigger thing?
In a way, but they also have that.
That's more true for DC because Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman are easily the most well-recognized superheroes in the. Maybe not anymore. Spider-Man is probably the most recognized superhero of all time, but I would say that a lot of those MCU characters are now just as well-recognized. Iron Man is a staple well beyond that of Robert Downey Jr. Okay, maybe that might be a little bit over the top. He's on par with Robert Downey Jr.
Well, I guess I kind of had two half thoughts there that I tried to make into one. What I was trying to say is like, they have that stability, right? Robert Downey Jr. has always been Iron Man.
Yeah.
The Hulk, for the most part, was I can't think of his name right now.
Edward Norton.
Mark Ruff. Oh.
No.
Oh, Mark Ruff. Before
he wasn't
Mark
the first,
Ruffalo.
but he's made that his character. So what I'm saying is people have fallen in love with these characters, these fictional characters, but they've had the familiarity and the stability of the same actors playing them, which DC I just don't think they've had. Dark Knight.
They've had the same characters playing Wonder Woman, Batman, I guess not Batman, but Superman and Wonder Woman for a while now. It's just that the movies aren't very good, so they don't have and that's coming from somebody who likes the franchises. It's just that they're not received the same way that a lot of the Marvel movies are.
That could very well be it.
But she's going to go do her own stuff. She's working on a couple of things right now. One of them's through Netflix because she had a picture deal with them after they did the movie Red Notice with Ryan Reynolds and The Rock. She's got that. I don't know if she's still making the Cleopatra movie, which they can now make to make up for that horrible race-swapped Cleopatra that Netflix made. So I don't know. It's do you think that that's the problem here, that Marvel just has a leg up?
I think that's part of it. I just don't think. I mean, people love Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I think that's very fair to say.
I think they like her. I think they like her. Yeah, she's an extremely likable person.
I don't know what
other than that rendition of Imagine.
Because I don't think
we got a $20 super chat from T-Bone.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, when are you going to be on IRL? That's a little bit cut off. Yeah, when are you going to be on IRL? Kellen, what happened to the facial hair? Serge, you are looking amazing in your sunglasses. Sir, you are just looking like a stud in your plaid. I think the last one was for Chris.
The last tab there on that computer is that just that you should look at. Just don't bump anything, otherwise it'll mess up the crisis meter. Speaking of which, guys, remember, before we get started on everything else, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? If you would like to super chat anything $20 and over, like T-Bone did, remember, we do interrupt the discussion. I stop Kellen from talking right then and there, and then we read your super chat, and then we try to get back on track right after that.
Should we interrupt like as hard as possible?
It depends.
Don't let people finish thoughts. Be like, hey.
I've gone both ways on this one. Like sometimes I interrupt right away. Sometimes if it seems like they're making an important point, I'll let them finish their thought before getting into it. So just be careful. If you'd like to interrupt, you're welcome to do so. So I don't know. So do you think that this is a Marvel issue, or do you think this is just the fact that I think part of it's also that James Gunn is just restarting everything from scratch over there?
Yeah,
and that's a problem because now it's why I think a lot of these DC movies aren't doing as well because people are kind of in a holding pattern, waiting for everything to be rebooted and start from scratch again.
And it's an interesting thought. It's like if this is their plan, the people at DC, I forget who owns the IP, but
Warner Brothers.
If this is their plan that they're trying to make like a 50, 60 year project, then we're barely going to remember this when we're old and feeble. So that could be what they're going for. They're like, guys, like we're off the ground, we're definitely a name brand in cinema, maybe we just need to completely hit the reset button, which they're kind of doing with James Gunn, you know, and maybe it won't matter in 10, 15 years from now.
Yeah, I don't know if it will. Like a lot of it is like short attention spans, right? Like, and also the like how fast information comes through. Like when you really think about it now, when these things were being made, when they hired Ben Affleck to play Batman like a decade ago, I guess longer, like 20, not a decade ago, 2014, but he was hired in 2014 or something like that, right? They said, look, don't go on the internet. It's horrible for your mental health. You're going to get nothing but backlash. Like, just don't do it. And to be fair, his backlash wasn't as swift and as harsh as it has been for other characters. But now that backlash is 3 times worse for anybody who gets hired to do anything in that realm, right? So 15 years from now, yes, it's possible that they won't remember. But I think a big part of it is just like, look, the news is so constant, so it always feels like the end of the world whenever any news comes out. It's why I get annoyed with James Gunn for constantly indulging in updates on Twitter when it doesn't feel like there's any actual substance to what he's saying. Yeah. There's a $20 one right there from Sammy Football.
Sammy Football. Hey, you guys.
That is not how it's supposed to
That's definitely not how that goes. You want to go ahead and do it for him, Bert?
Hey, you guys! That's close enough.
Oh, hi, Bert.
That was exactly how that one's supposed to sound, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for that. That was fantastic. All right, guys, we're going to move on. Here's an update from the writer's strike. Yellowstone's prequel, 1923. I don't know if you saw season 1 with Helen Mirren and with Harrison Ford. Has been put on indefinite hold because of the writer's strike, which is going on right now, which is, you know, totally believable and understandable, but I've imagined that a lot of shows, especially when you think about it, if you're Paramount and you've got Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren, they're not getting any younger, dude. Like they can't afford to be on hold for long periods of time. Like I don't know if they got the adrenochrome pumping through their veins, but they can't afford to take a couple of years off if they're just going to come back and then have to have a hip replacement before the next season. I'm literally not trying to be mean. I'm saying like it's very possible that when you get to an actor like Harrison Ford or Helen Mirren, so somebody of that caliber, likely with that price tag and limited time to actually work with them, you've got to take that into account as to whether you're going to keep these series going or whether you're just going to scrap it. Like imagine like you're a pro athlete and you hire someone, you know, you're a sports team and you hire someone who's only got a couple years left, and then like they strike in sports, right? Because they have unions,
right?
So. Well, you mean like the players?
Yeah.
They hold out is what you'll see a lot of times.
Not necessarily it's not a coordinated strike, but they'll definitely hold out for better pay.
I mean, so holdout is what you'll see most commonly, and it's because it's an individual like beef that the player has with the team or whatever it may be. But I remember maybe 10, 15 years ago, because what the union does for the players, they'll meet every decade or so and set rules for the next decade. Well, they couldn't get a deal done maybe 10, 15 years ago. And I can't remember if the season just didn't, I think it did happen, but it started late. Yeah. And this has happened in other sports. It's happened in basketball. It's happened in hockey. Where hockey had a whole year where there was no hockey played.
I remember that one. But like no, so like imagine that. Like imagine you win the championship in a shortened season. So there's just an asterisk next to your name.
That's what they said about the bubble year, the COVID NBA finals. It was all in Disney. That was all down in Disney World. They said that was not real NBA. You don't have fans. You're not traveling. There's none of that. So it's an asterisk championship year.
And then you have the Astros cheating in baseball in 2017.
How does that even work? I'm not the biggest baseball guy. Can someone here explain to me how
Neither am I.
Do any of you guys know?
How they cheated?
Yeah, with the trash can.
Yeah, it had to do with like being able to see the pitcher's signal or something, right? So the batter would know what the pitcher was going to throw before they threw it.
I guess,
Most
so
recently, that's what I saw.
There's a guy either in the stands or like in one of the team benches, and he'd hit a trash can, like making loud, audible banging sounds. You could hear it when you watch the games.
There's so going to be a movie made about that guy someday.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming it was one guy and not like imagine you're the cheating team. You don't want to have like a bunch of people in on the conspiracy.
I wonder if
that's why Angels in the Outfield was such a bad movie, right? Because they cheated.
Did they get their championship revoked?
No.
They didn't, so they still own it.
No, they still have it.
Because I was going to wonder about that mattress king who like bets his life savings every year on the Astros.
Wow. That's wild.
Okay, all right, guys. So I've got one bad story and one slightly heartening story here. Amanda Bynes has been placed on a psychiatric hold after an LAPD detainment. She's had an in-and-out year after getting out of treatment, or I'm sorry, getting out of her. What was it that Britney Spears had? The conservatorship. Yeah. She got out of her conservatorship. By all means, it seems like her family seems to be a lot closer to her than Britney Spears' family is with her. But she got out of her conservatorship, and then it seemed like things kind of went off the rails again, and they found her wandering recently, and then now she's been put back on a 5150 psychiatric hold, which you can only hope, right, that for the good of the person, that they're able to do the most with their time there and find their way to a better path, but that's not always plausible. But for people in Hollywood, it just seems to be all the more common, given how much bad stuff happens to them when they're younger, especially people who are young actors. But Bam Margera, on the other hand, has finally gotten to speak to his son and seems to be committed to getting sober, which I am very, very happy to see. I don't want to just report on Bam Margera when bad things are happening. Right. I want to be able to update people when something good happens. So it says his son Phoenix is inspiring him to detox and sober up following a psych hold, and his estranged wife is allowing him to talk to their kid again. Nikki Margera's attorney, David Glass, tells TMZ she's given the green light for Bam and Phoenix to start communicating, and they're talking over FaceTime while Bam is in rehab. So I don't know if he ended up going to the Lamar Odom rehab facility. I know that Lamar Odom reached out to him because Lamar Odom bought a bunch of rehab facilities and wanted to get Bam into one of them. So I don't know if that's the one he's at, but it's people were making fun of him when all this stuff was happening, and he certainly was an absolute mess, but everybody has to get back somehow, right? So anytime you fall that far down, you eventually have to start from zero and get back to some place to living a life that's somewhat livable. So my hope is that, he's at Lamar Odom's facility. I really hope the dude ends up getting better, because that's not a good place to be. Nobody wants to be living in a situation like that, especially if you've got family. Especially if you've got a kid.
Does Amanda Bynes, I know we kind of glossed over that quickly, but does she, because with Bam Margera, right, he still has a son. Yeah. He's still got the crew of Jackass, who's kind of...
Not really.
I mean, he's got friends around, right, that are successful, and then he's got the ex-wife. Does Amanda Bynes have anyone like that?
No, she was in a relationship when she got out of her conservatorship, and that has since ended.
Because, this is kind of interesting watching these two stories play out, because they're both people who are not doing anything anymore, right? But are probably still very wealthy from royalties and everything.
Well, the last Jackass movie actually did really, really well at the box office.
But he wasn't in that.
No, he was not.
But even the first three, he's probably still getting royalty checks from those. Amanda Bynes was a huge childhood star. So it's you have nothing going for you, and you have all this money, so it kind of just lets you. If you're doing bad things, it's very easy to continue doing those bad things.
I was watching something. What was I watching recently? It was some show, and a guy in it who was he was the heir to some fortune who had addiction issues, and he basically said the last thing I want is my inheritance, because I know that as soon as I get it, it's going to kill me, right? Because it's sometimes the only thing that stops an addict from using is literally the inability to get what they need, right? Which is why so many of them end up committing crimes and stuff like that. It's not healthy. It's very, very bad, but it's an understandable path to go. Go for it.
The last of my kind. That was a good monologue. I'm sorry for interrupting, but that's the rule here.
That is the rule.
Everyone's team was cheating. There's pictures and videos corroborating this. The Astros were the scapegoats. Teams didn't want to report each other because they didn't want to risk an investigation on themselves.
Oh yeah, and hey, I'm one of those people. Look, the steroid era of baseball is my favorite era of all time. As far as I'm concerned, every one of those players should be allowed to just inject themselves with whatever chemicals they want, and every single one of those pitchers should be able to use whatever type of disgusting lubricant on their hands that they want. I don't care if it's spider tack, a Vaseline, or some type of lubricant. I don't care. Let them do it. If they want to use sex wax, that's fine. Just let them all do it. We should have a cheaters league where there's just no rules and they can all do it. It'd be like the Vince McMahon started the XFL.
Yeah.
We need the XFL of baseball, where all the players are just on roids. They sign me up.
I'm into it.
It's probably wrestling too, but I know in the UFC, after a certain weight limit, it's just anything above that goes. So I've
Like, I'm
always
here
thought that
for
was
it.
awesome.
Like I'm here for it.
And what's the word? It's called not unlimited. It's
Super heavyweight, I think.
Oh no, not that. I just mean like in
Oh.
general, like a league where there's no rules. I guess it's unlimited. League or
Open.
just be- open
Yeah.
league.
Open
just be-
league,
That'd
yeah.
be really cool.
Dude,
I'd watch that.
I'm down. Like I just want to see every baseball player looking like a boulder.
Yeah.
Like it makes
not?
Ken Griffey Jr.'s accomplishments all the better because he was able to do as well as he did without using steroids, which is why he's my favorite athlete of all time. Though it is really funny, from time to time I do go back and I do rewatch like the old home run derbies from the 90s, and the players are just enormous. And like there's one, I think it's the 99 home run derby, and Mark McGuire's hitting, and he's chewing his gum at like 1,000 miles a minute. You can tell the dude is just out of his gourd. It's incredible. Like it was such a great time.
It was.
The world
What
was
a time
so
to be
much
alive.
simpler back then. Also, there's this one where he hits. I think they were at Fenway. I could be wrong about that, but I think they were at Fenway, and he hits it over the wall, and you see a cameraman just destroy a child to get to the shot of the person getting, like, you see a kid just get run over by a cameraman just so he can get the shot of people getting the ball. We got two $20 ones there.
Alrighty. Sammy spills the tea. Says, "Dude, this is like my dream cast today."
I had a
Let's
Sega
get it.
Dreamcast, so sign me up.
I had a Dreamcast as well.
Dreamcasts were cool.
Oh yeah, I had a Dreamcast.
I was a Nintendo.
Also, guys, they're going to be very excited. I don't think anyone in this room has heard the Crisis Party that
New one?
that we made, the new one from. Well, it's been around for a week, but it's a specialty made by Carter and Ian.
I
it's
did hear it.
It's from
I did
another
hear it, yeah.
room.
No,
you
last
were here?
week.
Okay, yeah.
With Hannah Claire.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then one more $20 one.
T-Bone. Bertcast IRL tonight, sir? Excuse me, sir. Is that Red Bull or Bud Light you're drinking?
This is Liquid Death. Rest in Peach. It's basically like
Rest in
What does that
peach.
say on the
It's
can?
peach tea.
100% woke.
alcohol.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just super well.
Yeah.
Kellen and Serge looking good today. Brett, you doing okay?
Oh, well, thank you.
Shout
Thank you
out to
very much
T-Bone.
for that. Thank you much. All right. So, you know what? My hope is that Bam gets back on a good path, and it seems like he's on the way to doing that. So that's all you can really hope for. All right, guys, this story is freaking crazy. So, porn star Mariah Mills says she's going to release sex tapes of NBA player Zion Williamson. Did you see this story?
Wow. Yeah.
This story's bonkers. She's basically like admitting to to releasing revenge porn. Like she wants to release revenge porn. He's having a kid, and she's basically like really mad that he had a kid with another person, and she's like, you know what? You're going to deal with it. So this was his statement. He goes, "My baby, you're going to see this at a point. I don't know what the future holds, but mommy and daddy love you. If you don't know nothing else in this world, know that mommy and daddy love you." That's what he said in a message to his unborn child. And then you get down here and you see her statements, and it's kind of bonkers because like I feel, and maybe I'm just naive, but I feel like if a guy did this and just threatened to release
standard.
porn of a woman,
Yeah.
because she decided she had the audacity to have a child with someone else, I feel like that would be looked down upon. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Okay, so she says, "Hope your leg heals soon before the season, Zion Williamson." Then she says, "You're going to lose everything." It says, "And you're going to suffer for what you did to me, blah, blah, blah. You're going to
probably
lose
not.
everything and fail. You'll never come back from this."
Probably
She's
not.
just, it's like a 20-tweet chain of just pure vitriol towards this dude.
That's Twitter for you.
So
you know?
normally I'd say no big deal, but Zion, like he hasn't really done anything since
And they're talking
coming
about
to the
trading
NBA.
him. Like, they're talking about trading him, right?
Yeah, I mean he's been injury plagued. I wouldn't say it's necessarily his fault, but he's gone through a lot of injuries since coming into the league and hasn't really lived up to expectations because he was supposed to be the next LeBron James. I mean that's what they were
And
talking
you
about.
never want to actually
when-
be called that person because it
Right.
never works. It's
No.
like, and you know what it is?
No.
It's like in
a serial
acting.
killer.
In acting, there's a curse. If a movie has and introducing credit, meaning it's like they're introducing this person who's having their big breakout role, never ends well. Never ends well.
that.
So you're saying he's having a rough go of it?
Yeah, and if this is just like clouding, I mean, because he's still a big name, so if he gets traded, right, so the team's going to pay him big money, but this may eliminate some teams from the running. Just they're like, you know, it was going to be an expensive investment anyway. He hasn't done anything, and now there's oh my gosh. Is this like you should get this as get it in a birthday card?
Oh yeah!
I love
Oh
that.
my God, that's amazing. That's an amazing
It's
idea.
really tonal.
Yeah.
Dude.
Big fan.
So you think that but also one of the big things about this is like it's
see.
it's a distraction to the locker room.
We'll see.
Stuff like this is a distraction to the locker room.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why teams might pass up on it, right?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, this guy's going to be raking in however many tens of millions of dollars a year, right? And now he's got this drama, like, I don't know, with an adult actress.
It's really, really evil to do this all because he's having a kid, because she's threatening to reveal something that he may not want his child to see. So let that be a lesson to you that women can be just as vitriolic and bad as men. She also says that, she goes, it's over for you. No one betrays me. It sounds almost like a joke. Like, it sounds almost like cartoonish. No one betrays me.
It's a tantrum. The fact that she tweeted 20 times, it's a tantrum.
She says, NBA, I have sex tapes of me and Zion Williamson and also have them in his trap phone. Trade him now. He doesn't deserve to be in New Orleans. Sex tape dropping soon. This is insane, dude. Like, where's your, like, that's kind of evil. Like, doing it because he's having a kid. Like,
little bit,
just a little bit evil.
You think?
Do you disagree? Is it very evil?
I think, like, I mean, I feel bad for him getting in the situation in the first place altogether. But, I mean, you know, I
but
guess.
sexual harassment towards men doesn't exist, Serge.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. So this is not
Very
a
true.
$20 super chat, but this goes with what we're talking about. Gordon Shumway says another adult actress, Jenna Fox, I don't know, retweeted M. Mills. So I guess this is Mills is the one talking about
Yes,
Zion.
her name's Mariah Mills.
So she retweeted it and said it was a messed up and illegal what she was doing. The comments are a bunch of other corn stars agreeing and calling Mills crazy. So
if even
that's
the people
cool.
in your industry are turning their back on you and they're disavowing, maybe it should cause you to think twice about your actions, just a little bit, right?
Is she really in the industry? Is she like considered? I don't know if she is.
Well, I did my research.
You know, I was going to make a joke and I decided not to, but you basically made it for me.
I did. I mean, for you, like,
Okay.
yes. Like, if you're in the industry and people are actually telling you that you shouldn't be doing this. Also, if people who have no problem with this stuff getting out understand the sensitivity of it getting out to somebody who has not chosen to work in that industry, it means that you probably lack a little bit of empathy and you're being kind of evil.
Right.
Like, it's, you know, but on the other hand, oh, go for it.
So, okay, exactly what you were just saying. Like, my wife did not sign up to do any of this stuff. I'm the one who signed up to work for Timcast. I'm the one who decided to be kind of, sort of a public figure. So I try to keep her private because she's basically said I don't want to be public.
Yeah.
True that.
Makes perfect sense.
So it's screwed up if I made her public.
If it makes you feel any better, I didn't want to be a public figure. I don't want to be a public figure either.
Yeah.
Like, not really. Like for the most part, but in stuff like this, it's also like my less forgiving side is just like, dude, you wanted the crazy, you got the crazy.
Yeah.
At a certain point, what were you going to expect? But that doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it okay. And to me, it's the fact that she's doing it over the fact that a child is involved. That's kind of evil.
well, let me just say something too. Zion Williamson is only 22 years old.
So his frontal lobe isn't even fully developed yet.
We're talking about a child, you know?
He's not a child.
We
Okay,
really are.
couch it with that language.
I don't know about
he's not a child. He's an adult. But I get what you're saying.
Like, I mean, he's a young man, right? So like,
I'll give that.
this is kind of ridiculous. I mean, I get it. He's a big dude, so he looks like he'd be older, but he's not. He's young. He's got a lot of learning to do, and this is stupid. How old is she? Does it say?
It doesn't say. But here's the thing. Does this then qualify? This is like the textbook definition of revenge porn.
Yes.
Like, by definition, this is exactly what you would talk about it being.
Yeah.
Like, it's also like she's like dropping it like it's a mixtape. She's
Yeah, I know.
she's like Friday.
I know.
Sunday. This Sunday.
Yeah, it's like
Sunday.
Mariah Mills mixtape. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen those ones? It's like, what if emo artists had producer tags?
Oh, it's so good.
It's like
I love that.
depression music.
Yeah, it's so
Oh,
good.
no, I haven't seen that. That'd be
It's
pretty
lovely.
funny.
Like, so guys, just a heads up, if you do decide to get involved with a woman who does porn, the sex may be fantastic, but
Corn.
you're just going to
Meant to say
have to
corn.
deal with the fact that if you decide to have a child with someone you actually love, there's all the possibility that this will end up coming out and you will have a tape revealed. Now, the better response from him would be like, joke's on you, I'm into that shit, and he just lets her release it.
Yeah.
Like
Gets ahead of it.
There is a fair argument to be made that there would be more stigma about this coming out about a woman than a guy. Like, that's just the way of the
I was
world.
going to say, everyone talks about Kim Kardashian. No one talks about Ray J.
Yeah, like
Who's that?
The guy
exactly.
that, yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not gonna matter to anyone if it ends up coming out about this guy in 5 years. They'll if it'll probably it's gonna damage her ability to build relationships with people. Clearly, by the way people in the industry are reacting to her, so they're not gonna trust her.
I will say though, like it's more than just like the revenge, like what she's threatening. The fact that this is kind of blown up is what's troubling more than like what she's actually promising to do. Because if he doesn't perform now, everyone's just going to blame it on this. Oh, you run around with the corn stars causing drama. You're not focusing on the game, you know?
Hate when that happens.
You know, that's what he has to worry about. It's like, okay, he's going to have to like completely block out the distractions and truly perform and play well, or people are always going to point to this and be like, maybe
That's
you shouldn't
why.
have been fooling around.
Yep.
True.
$20 super chat right there.
$20. Let's see here. All right. Clint says, howdy, bros. Cowboy bros. Lesson of the day, boys. Hell hath no fury. Like, what does that say?
Jilted?
Jilted?
Yeah.
Jilted Ratchet 304.
That's
Or like
great.
an adult film star scorns.
That's
You
great.
know, it happens, right? Like, what did you expect to happen in a way? Like, it's kind of like have you ever seen the Bill Burr skit where he talks about gold diggers are the wife abusers for men?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Many
He
times.
goes, like every time a guy who like he cheats and then loses all his money, they go, "Hey, stupid! Yeah, what did you expect?" It's like they never talk about like once you reach a certain level of fame and fortune, he's like, you're not prepared for the platoon of whores that are gonna come down the valley and jump on your dick like it's Braveheart. Like he's not wrong, right? Like when you
Wow.
get to that level of fame and you're somebody in the public eye, it probably is very difficult for somebody
And
like
he's-
him to just say no.
NBA, right?
Yeah.
NBA's kind of got a reputation for that, from what I understand. So
Exactly.
makes sense.
It
Checks out.
makes like
Everything so far is checking out.
Like,
you
it's
know?
probably written in-
22-year-old millionaire. You know, it's checking out. Everything's starting to make sense here.
like his manager's like, well, he got it done early. I thought it'd take at least till 23 to make that mistake. Get it done. Get the mistakes done quick, and then invest your money.
man.
ladies
We're
and
ahead of
gentlemen.
schedule.
Well, like LeBron's been married for like 20 years.
Yeah, but LeBron's like very openly flirtatious online. It's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it's like the situation and you talked about before, which I actually learned from you. And I guess I learned it, but I'd known it a little bit after being in Hollywood. But like people have these public relationships, but in reality, it's a lot more open. So we'll say, you know.
Well, yeah, because it's a business arrangement
Right.
a lot of times
Exactly.
for most of them.
Exactly.
Look at, did you see Conor McGregor getting accused of
Yeah.
R-word? His wife flew in and stood by him on Father's Day because what else is she supposed to do, right? Like she has to make a public showing of it, even if
Right.
she doesn't. Yeah, I mean, she could believe it 100% that he did what he said, but outside of proof and him saying, "No, honey, I didn't do it," what can she really do? Like she
Yeah.
can either take his word for it, or she can
Or
take
not.
the word of the person who's accusing him. But either way, she's in between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Like,
True.
what do you do?
Good
And
point.
when you're a very public figure, and isn't he kind of famous for the fact that like she kind of helped him when he was still building his way up? Like she worked so that he could train or something like that. Like they built a life
know.
together.
Don't know
Yeah.
exactly.
That I don't know. I know Connor's definitely been in the news recently because he sent the one mascot to the hospital.
There's a $20 one right there.
Sorry, boys, I lost the game, and now y'all have to.
Oh my God.
What was the game?
And that was
game?
sent by Call Me Snow.
Call Me Snow Possum. I mean, I don't think you pronounce the O in opossum. I think it's just possum.
I do.
Okay. All right, guys. So your lesson, your pop culture crisis lesson of the day, ladies and gentlemen, is don't get into bed with adult film stars lest
What a
they
lesson.
try to blackmail you. Right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Also, if you saw this is actually a really, really good story to see here. Elon Musk is boosting the anti-trafficking film Sound of Freedom. We actually just bought our tickets to go see it. We're going to see it on July 7th. This is a
Nice.
movie about a man named Tim Ballard. It's a very, very not a famous story, but it's a very good anti-trafficking story about working for what they call Operation Underground Railroad, which is a nonprofit that combats sex trafficking of minors around the world. And this is a movie that has been in production hell for a very, very long time. It was originally bought by Disney. Hold off on that, and then I'm gonna. So it was originally originally bought by Disney because it was produced through 20th Century Fox, and then Disney did nothing with it. It just sat on the shelf for ages. And now it's Elon Musk is saying what they should do is they should release it on Twitter for a viewing, just like they did What Is a Woman.
Sure.
Disco Jensen with $20 says, "This is part of the show where I lecture you men to start families. The culture shifts with people, and we have to breed out the woke. After LeBron and Kaepernick's antics, I gave up on the NBA and NFL."
Well, way to assume my gender.
Yeah,
Right,
for sure.
seriously.
And yeah, like submit all applications here. No, no, but this is a really good idea, right? Like to put the movie up for viewing on Twitter. I think they said it got several million, like 81 million views or something. No, wait, that's how many votes Joe Biden supposedly got. Never, people were mad at me on Friday because I made fun of the song.
Oh,
People were mad at me because I made fun of the 81 million vote song. I was like, it's a little cringy. Sorry, guys, it's not for me. And people are like, yeah, but it's number one. I'm like, that doesn't mean it's not. There's plenty of cringy
Plenty of
shit
bad
makes
songs
it to
make it
number
up there.
one. What are you talking about? Right?
I like what Elon's doing. I love the sentiment. But do you guys remember? Was it Tubi?
Tubi. Yeah.
Right, the app, the streaming service that was only on the phone that crashed and burned. Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting a little
Wait,
bit
Quibi?
of Quibi.
Quibi.
I was say Tubi's still around.
Okay, so Quibi.
Yeah.
Tubi's another one.
The one that it's not around anymore. I'm kind of getting that feel with all this content going on Twitter. I don't want to watch, like, I've seen like people are posting movies, even Tucker's show, which is only 10 or 15 minutes. It's like it's hard to get through that
on
when
your
you're
phone.
on your phone.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't ever go on Twitter on the computer. I know you can. Maybe that would make it better, but that's something they're going to need a TV app or a more dedicated kind of like place to watch videos if they want to continue this, because it's a chore right now. I just don't like watching stuff.
180 million views for What Is a Woman on Twitter.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
crazy. I wonder. I would love to
dude.
see. I don't know if they have the metrics, but how many people, for how long they watched. What was the average watch time? Because I guarantee 180 million people didn't make it
Watch
past
the whole
10 minutes.
start to finish.
Yeah, there's no way.
That's very hard.
Or it's
to-
bots,
Like
you
it's
know?
very hard to get somebody to do that when like your phone has your push notifications on, and you're like, well, what is a woman? And like, oh, so and so update like Andrew Tate, and then they click on the video, right? True. So. I don't know. Like for this, I've been seeing a lot of ads for this movie. I mean, maybe it's just the places where I go to get news because of my work, but I've been seeing a fairly decent ad push on IMDb, pushing for people to go see this. And I really do believe that everyone here would benefit from going and watching this movie. If we want to promote things that are good for the culture, this is absolutely a movie that is a push in the right direction for that. And the only way for something like this to get the metrics it needs to be push to make more of. So, like if we want more of these things to get made, people need to show up to these things. We can't just talk about it, right?
Yep.
Like you have to actually show up and go see these movies. And if they're putting it in theaters and they're going out to the mainstream, my hope is that they can end up doing this, because I would like to see more stuff like this get made. There was the rumors a couple weeks ago, the recurring rumor that Mel Gibson was going to make a documentary that was exposing human trafficking of children and stuff in the Ukraine, which everyone was saying was BS. But then there was also this article from Leading Report that says Mel Gibson provided, quote, valuable intelligence to help dismantle a pedophile ring preying on children in Ukraine, according to Operation Underground Railroad, which is the one that Tim Ballard was involved with in the film, right?
Wow.
So, like, it's like there's this structure here. I can see it kind of forming now. Like, if you want to make a change and you want to grow a culture with things that fall in line with your belief systems, here's the outline for it, right? Here are some very good causes that are still based in entertainment that you can support that will help promote to these companies the idea that there is a market for this. Like if you make stuff like this, people will come. Mm-hmm. And it's very hard to get companies to invest in stuff unless there's a reason why they go back to the same characters over and over again rather than try new things, right? Because they know people will show up for Batman. They know people will show up for Spider-Man. They know people will show up for things that they know are safe. So if you want more stuff like this to get made, then the number one thing you have to do is when somebody manages to get something like this accomplished, show up. Go see it, and it's coming. It's got to be coming to a theater near you, because I saw tickets available both here out in this area as well as in Minnesota, because I'm going to be back in Minnesota when this movie comes out. So this is not a limited release. So guys, you can go get showtimes now. At least I was able to buy my tickets for it. So I recommend that everyone go and check this out, because I think it would be very cool to see more of these movies catch on. Yes! And Ian and Carter agree. Yes? Yes? It also
should do Christmas music.
I know, right? It also goes in line with the fact that when Elon took over Twitter, he started nuking accounts that were, bad accounts. You saw that?
So he says.
You don't believe him?
I just think it's so rampant that it's hard to actually put a stop to it.
So, yeah,
you gotta try.
It's one of those things where it's constantly. It's like the what's the mythological creature where you cut off the head and two more appear?
Hydra.
The Hydra. Yeah. You cut off the Hydra's head, but nobody was cutting off the Hydra's head at all in the
That's
first place.
true.
I mean,
he's. There's definitely changes that have been made,
Wasn't
but
it a basilisk?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's a Hydra.
Basilisk, yeah.
Basilisk is the one that turns you to stone, right?
Oh, okay.
That's Medusa.
Yeah.
No, I think Basilisk.
No, Medusa.
Now
does
somebody in
turn
the
you to stone too, but she's different. She's got snakes for hair.
And she turns you to stone.
One of you Dungeons and Dragons, bro, correct me.
It's like some expert in medieval history is like, actually.
Please correct me. I don't know, man.
That's my spirit animal.
Look, Elon's supporting this. That's a good thing. So I want to see stuff like this succeed. It would be very cool to see something like this. And here's the thing. Whenever I post videos about this movie, which, to be fair, like the average person would have never heard of, they do well because people in this audience want to see problems like this get solved. They're sick of not seeing anything done about any of this stuff. They're sick of Hollywood taking no stance on this stuff, but taking extremely hardline stances on stuff that doesn't matter. Right? Like that's one of the things that I always come to when I hear these people complaining about everything. I'm like, yeah, but what about the things that actually matter? What about the things we can actually work to solve? Sure, we can try to solve climate change, I guess, but we could also maybe spend some time and resources trying to solve these other very real problems. I also wanted to talk about this today because I do want to draw the distinction here between this topic. First go get that one there from Crisis. From Call Me Snow Possum.
Crisis Party? More like Sausage Party.
Oh, got him! Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Got him.
That was a great joke.
Okay. I wanted to cover this because I wanted to draw a distinction here between what is going on with the release of this movie, because I do think that it's a worthy cause to start focusing on.
Agreed.
We should be looking to crack down on child trafficking. You should be looking to crack down on human trafficking. But then it raises the question, what about the Andrew Tate situation? Because today, Andrew Tate has been indicted by the Romanian government for human trafficking, R-word, and various other charges, along with his brother and two unidentified women. They're all still on house arrest, and people will ask a very fair question. There's like a lot of times when we talk about this, I don't take a hardline stance on Andrew Tate because I don't know. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if he did it. The evidence, like, all we're getting are accusations. We're not getting evidence. So it's fair to ask, like, should you give fair attention to both of these? And I think you should, right? We should be talking about all of these situations. Yeah. But the thing about the Andrew Tate one is, it's like, what do you talk about? Because all the information is so muddled and all over the place.
That's the thing. I feel like I'm free Cobra 100%. I made that pretty clear, I believe, even on the show. I think that now it is almost like a blessing in disguise, because now they actually have to present evidence. I don't know how the Romanian court system works, but I assume now they're gonna have to prove to at least these judges and at least the public that, like, hey, this is our legal system actually has some merit. There's actually evidence required when you get accused of something as serious as a grape or as human trafficking, which is wild to think that's what they're actually accusing him of. I understand maybe it was. I've said from the beginning, if he is really guilty of these things, fine, like, lock him up, sure. But until that evidence is shown to me and proven to me, and it doesn't just seem like this is a coordinated attack by people that have a lot of power and undue power at that, I just am not going to believe it. I'm not going to believe it. So until I see it, like, it's free Cobra all day, always. Yeah.
So the charges they're drawing against him also include forming a criminal gang to exploit women, and then Tristan Tate keeps bringing up to steal the money from their TikToks, or as he says, TikToks, because of their accent. And in the claims that he seduced women so that they would make pornographic content, and then that was fueled by the webcam business. But everything that I've seen, the webcam business was already dissolved before this time period, which is like 2021, right? And the other question here is like, what? Does anybody really trust the Romanian government? Andrew Tate himself said, and this is an argument against him, he says, I moved to Romania because I wanted to be able to be somewhere where I'd be able to pay off the right officials.
True.
And then you have to wonder, like, in a world where they don't seem like the governments don't seem to put a whole lot of focus on trafficking, why are they suddenly putting all the focus on this one person who seems to be running a message that's contrary to what they that society and the mainstream media are pushing these days.
We got a $20 super chat from Mason Hack. Says, have you seen the trailer for the One Piece live action? It'll come out in August and looks promising. Also, Oshi no Ko is an amazing anime.
I saw the trailer. I mean, I didn't watch the original, so I have nothing to compare it to, but it looked very uninspired to me, but all Netflix stuff looks uninspired to me.
It does.
These days.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really stick with me in any way.
You know, like the magic for like just, I don't want to get too into the conversation, but for like live action, some of the magic that they're trying to do all these remakes is the fact that it wasn't live action. You know, with
Right.
the
Yeah, well, that's what Mary was saying
princess
yesterday. It's
movies.
like, that was kind of beautiful, right? Like,
Right.
it didn't need to always translate to live action. I have a theory that a lot of it is like live action is perceived as more legit, used to be perceived as more legitimate than cartoon anime or comics back in the day. But now what we're learning is that the
A good story is a good story.
Animated is actually probably more legitimate, but
Yeah,
just doesn't
definitely.
draw the audience that they're looking for.
It's so difficult to make something like Akira, which is made in like 88, I believe, and then released in 89. That is it's an incredible movie too. You can still watch it today and it still holds up in my opinion. And I'm still really, really, really sour about the live action take on Cowboy Bebop. That like it was just such an annoying thing, and people were actually like, this is when I was still living in Hollywood. People were still trying to tell me, oh, like, have you seen it yet? It's like, dude, I'm not gonna watch that. Like, why are we friends again? Can you remind me? I'm just not excited for this. And yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I wonder if they'll make every single filler episode of One Piece. Who knows?
Is there any of them, like, has there ever been a live action one that you felt that did the justice to the anime?
The Avatar.
Oh no.
The Last Airbender?
What? Yeah.
No, the Goku, the Goku. It was the
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that one was
movie.
awesome.
Yeah, that
was
Goku
great.
was great. You're right. He totally looked exactly like Goku. Right? Yeah, 100%.
Perfect. Everyone loves that one, right?
You
No, I
disagree?
don't know. I have no idea. It's a good question. I have to look through all the ones that have been made.
So how do you guys, like, does the Andrew Tate conversation come up to you guys much at all, like, outside of, it seems like one of those things that seems terminally online. Like, I'm not talking about Andrew Tate in the real world with very many people, but it almost seems like it's designed to be, like, some type of weird amalgamation of information that's so impossible to decipher that you can't actually take a strong stance on it without being willing to admit that you're just acting on faith. Like, if you think he's 100% guilty, you're acting on faith that this person who has a demeanor you don't like lives up to the ideals that you're impressing upon him, like that you're kind of imprinting upon him your own negative connotation of him, and you're just praying that that's actually what he's like. And the people that are saying he's 100% innocent are also in many ways doing the same because there's such little information out there.
Yeah.
Like, does that feel accurate?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that much about the Tates before this whole Romanian like authorities thing started happening. I really don't care that much now.
The Tate stuff is like, I didn't hear anything about it in my real life. It wasn't until people on social media started screaming about him. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What's going on? Oh, you know what? No, I take that back. I did know about Andrew Tate because I watched Your Mom's House, the podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And they covered him, and I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, I'm not taking this guy serious, whatever. And then
My favorite is the one when he talks about Spider-Man being a pussy.
Yeah, so funny.
He's like, now you're spider dork. It's incredible.
That's funny.
So it says, so Tristan Tate tweeted, he says, they've finished the investigation. He put investigation in quotes. Progress at last. These 15 months have been hell on everybody I care about. If I were the police, I'd have ended the investigation after a week when the two girls were caught bragging about lying and discussing future financial fame and benefits that they would get by doing so. Nonetheless, this file will now finally be in the hands of a judge. Look, did you see, the cultural relevance of this dude cannot be denied. He did a live stream on Rumble last week that reached 432,000 concurrent viewers.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yep.
Like, if you really think about it, like, he's got strong production behind him. This is not just a dude making stuff in his basement. This is a dude with a lot of media being pushed out. So you should be very, very weary of everything you see, both for or against the dude. It's kind of a good, in a lot of ways, he's a good cautionary tale. Like, whether you like the dude or you don't, be very wary of anything he's pushing on you as 100% true, and be very wary of anyone that's telling you something negative about him that they're saying is 100% true, because everyone's got their own skin in the game.
Right.
Also, I wonder if, like, does the deep state and the Matrix, are they different things? Or are they the same? Because he says the Matrix. Here in America, they say the deep state.
Well,
there should be a collab.
I think the Matrix is the broader group, and
Yeah.
there's many deep states.
So the
there's
deep
only
state's
one
America.
Matrix.
Yeah, but who is they though?
I thought you knew.
I'm asking you.
I don't know.
I mean, I was there and I have no idea, dude. I've been wondering for a long time.
Also,
Let me know.
look, it's fair to point out that there's probably a lot of strong political motivations from the Romanian government here too, right? Like this is a type
I wonder
of case
if
that could.
one of the cam girls who felt wronged or whatever by him, I wonder if her dad is powerful. That's like, I'm trying
Yeah.
to make sense of this because, like, I know how popular Andrew Tate was, but he's still small potatoes. Like, why would a government care about him?
I mean, I don't know about small potatoes. I mean, at a certain
He
point,
definitely-
he was the most searched person in the entire world and
Yeah.
the number one influencer in the entire world.
what's-
That's not really small potatoes
what's-
because he's got a strong message that that a lot of young men find very, very attractive. And if he tells young men not to
I
go
don't
to,
think that's
if
it.
he
You'd
tells
see
young
extradition
men,
then.
if he tells young men not to go to war because there's nothing in it for you, governments might find that to be something that they don't want promulgating and getting pushed out there. That's just tinfoil hat, right?
Sure, but
Like-
I don't. If he was being sent to like the UK or the US after he got arrested, I'd say maybe. But the fact that Romania is just doing its own thing, it's just very weird to me. Like I don't know what's in it for them unless someone's.
Well, I mean, think about the asset seizure. Like they have all those cars, they have a bunch of money.
That could be- yeah, they're-
That's what I.
Do they
think
have all the
main thing is.
Bugattis?
Maybe
They have his
whoever's-
Bugatti. They have a lot
yeah.
of things, and I think that for me, I was also wondering what the
It's just
the
a
move
couple
behind it
$100
was.
mil payday.
Yeah, and it's not like we haven't seen pressure from I guess our local national government on other countries' governments to do things in the past. You know, it's like we haven't seen that before. It's definitely
that's
definitely not been a thing, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's pushing behind it, but you know, all in all, I still think again, I don't like the precedent that it sets. I don't want to be in a situation where like, you know, especially as someone that's lived in many countries and I was a foreigner here and am now American. Like, I don't think you should be charged without any evidence of the crime. And if you're going to be charged, you shouldn't be put on house arrest for. I know it's a different system, but there needs to be evidence, especially the people that are like the victims are staying anonymous or not giving out any information to say like it's like we should, for anybody that's getting accused of this, for anybody, be like, that's not cool. We should be against it. If you're against it, it doesn't matter if you like the guy or don't like the guy. You can love him or hate him. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's this precedent that it's setting to say like we can just put someone in jail and destroy their life because we just wanted to. Oh, we found evidence. Trust me, bro.
And I think that's that
don't like
all
that.
sides are kind of guilty of that. Like everyone's willing to look the other way when it goes against somebody that they don't like, right? Like you're always willing to just say, "Oh, I guess they had it coming to them because you don't like them." And again, this dude could be 110% guilty, and then we'll find out later that he did all of these things.
Right.
I don't know how you become extremely wealthy off of taking 50-50 split from people on TikTok. But
That's
like,
what doesn't make
like the charges are just all over the place.
That's what
dude.
doesn't make sense to me is where all the mass amount of wealth that he has. Like I know he's popular, but he's got like FU money.
Hustlers
you know?
University.
Like
I said, you know what I'm gonna do? One day, I'm signing up for Hustlers University. I'm signing up for PragerU. I'm signing up. Who else has got a college I
got
can
a
sign up
course?
for?
Right.
Trump
Like
University?
Trump.
Oh,
Is that a
nice.
thing?
Oh no,
Yeah.
I think it was.
Was that a thing?
it used
Wasn't
to be.
it?
Trump University was a thing. Holy crap!
I remember getting told that
Does he have
because it went
dance
bankrupt
classes
that
or
he was
Yeah.
bad.
Does he have
And I was
dance
like,
classes where he teaches you how to do the Donald Trump dance? Where his
That's-
arms
yeah,
never, where he raptors the arms.
Every
like this?
graduation. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, there's other ways you can invest your money. Like this, someone in the chat mentioned he's a kickboxing champion, like 2-time world champion. Like he's got other endorsements. He's definitely okay. I don't know how he made his money and everything like that, but at the same time, like,
And that could be it too. It could have been nothing with the girls. It could be like, yo, we don't know where this guy got this money. He's connected to a few different countries. It could be a very secret hush hush investigation under the guise of he's a womanizer. We're gonna get him for that. You know, maybe he's doing some nefarious things with money, and I don't know.
But it's just weird that like his videos had been around for years, and then nobody had a strong opinion either way about him until he came out and said something about the war and Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
It was like, now you're mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
right.
He also had a really funny take on Meghan Markle I like his advice stuff. I don't care about. It's his hilarious takes on random things in pop culture, like Spider-Man, that I find utterly hilarious.
He's a funny dude.
Or him talking about how like Fitbits are for losers. Yeah. like that stuff makes me laugh. Like I'm never gonna go look the dude up, but if the clips end up invading my timeline, then so be it.
Well, they made him more popular when they tried to like ban him. Like I think it was around.
So it was Alex Jones effect in a lot of
essentially.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like I just don't like that. You know, as someone, especially in quote unquote this new media world, like I'm gonna push against this because the precedent. I vote and I make decisions based on like the morals that I have, not just because I like or don't like someone. Again, just to restate it, because like everyone gets twisted. Like why if he's guilty, like, you know, lock him up. Bad dude. No, I don't want him to be popular.
They're mentioning that like the method he would use for seducing women is called the lover boy method, and then they're talking about how do you do that to a grown woman? Because I thought Wyatt Derp says I thought women matured faster than men.
Right.
At least that's what I've always been told. Look, I don't know, and it's 110% possible that I'm completely wrong about all this. I also remember somebody telling me, and I don't know if this is true, that his dad was in the CIA or something like that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
I think he was like a linguist.
That's amazing.
I believe he was like a linguist. He's also was like a grandmaster in playing chess.
That's amazing.
But yeah, I mean, people call him stupid, but it's like he wouldn't be in a situation that he's in at all if he was a fool of any kind, you know. So I mean, I'm not going to say that, but
so we'll see where it goes. We'll continue to follow it. Ian Miles Chong says the charges against Andrew and Tristan Tate don't make much sense. Kidnapping half a dozen women to force them to make TikTok videos for millions of dollars. That sounds so made up, it's not even funny. We'll have to wait. Like, I don't know if they will end up making the full list of charges and dates available once the court hearings proceed, right? Like, I'd like to be able to see a timeline of all the charges and stuff like that. But it's like, it's almost like it's designed to obfuscate all the information. Like, it's all designed to be hard to follow and understand.
Yep.
So, all right, we got some super chats there, Kellen.
Yes, we do. All right, let me just go to the top. Andrew Jacob says Brettcast IRL. Let's go.
No, he didn't say Brettcast
Yes,
IRL.
he did.
Yes, he did.
I thought it said Bertcast IRL. I swear.
It's a separate one.
Hey, okay. Never mind. I'll take it back.
Fear Me It's Bree says, noticed right away the Marvel logo was basically hidden in Craven trailer. My guess is they hope it does better if disassociated to the franchise.
They don't make the logo as prominent for the Sony picture movies because it's in association with Marvel rather than an actual Marvel movie.
Andrew Jacob says Bertcast.
There we go.
Let's
Thank
go.
you. Thank you.
Let's do one more, and then we will move on from Gordon. We already read. Gordon Shumway.
Yep. Gordon says they do strike in pro sports. When the owners and the players union can't reach a CBA, they strike. It practically killed the MLB in 1994.
Yeah. Collective bargaining.
Yeah, so they'll do that, but it's like for 5-10 years, and then they won't touch it again. So you'll hear about this stuff every once in a while, but it's not every year.
Right.
I'm also going to end the. I'm going to end the poll just because I always forget to end the poll. I asked Andrew Tate, innocent or guilty? The options were innocent, guilty, or who the hell knows. And 57% said who the hell knows. And I think that that's a strong indicator of the sentiment, right?
Right.
Yep.
That seems fair.
Kind of like how Serge is annoyed that, you know, there's so much attacks going on. I'm annoyed because there's so much attention just about it. It's like I didn't really care about that much about this guy before, and now I'm supposed to. And it's just like he's just to me, he was always just another talking head, like another streamer on the internet, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So.
Do one more, and then we'll move on.
All right. Shane H. Wilder says, thanks for reminding me about my Astros. Was not a good time to be a fan.
Okay, fair enough. All right, guys, let us move on, shall we? So let's talk about Meghan Markle. So yesterday, we talked, I know, right? Yesterday, we talked about the fact that Meghan Markle got called a grifter. Her and Prince Harry both got called grifters by Bill Simmons, who said that he wants somebody to get him drunk so he can tell them the story about trying to help Prince Harry come up with ideas for podcasts, which I would pay money to see. Absolutely. Right? So now they're saying that she faked podcast podcast interviews, this is a little bit, and I'm going to be honest here, this is a little bit over the top and hyperbolic. What they're basically saying is like, look, when she was doing the interviews with like the big name celebrities, like a Jamila Jamil or a Mindy Kaling, if you call those big name celebrities, she would be there and she'd have her in-depth discussion with them. But when she would do interviews with smaller names, they would actually have like a person who worked for that, like a producer, do
so
the interviews,
dumb.
and they would cut her voice in.
That's so dumb.
Are you suggesting that she's fake?
I was gonna say, like, this is not good for her branding, is it not?
No, not at all.
I didn't see. You read the first part of that. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool because it's like there's some novelty there. She's trying something new. The podcaster that's never there, but the fact that she's got two tiers of people, ones that she'll show up for, and ones that she won't. That's what's messed up.
Like imagine Tim like just shows up for the Bannons and the O'Keefes and everybody else. He's like, Ian, you got this one,
yeah.
And he just lets Ian do all the interviews with everyone else. Like that's it's not a way to endear an audience to you, especially when what you're trying to do is make yourself seem more relatable to the average person.
People forget that Markle is just another Hollywood D-bag. I mean,
Who?
Exactly.
Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle.
Oh, she's that girl from Suits, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So
kidding,
she
I
was
knew that
already
already.
kind
I
of
don't
like, drinking the Hollywood Kool-Aid, and then she goes and gets involved in the royal family. And people's attention spans, their memories are short, so they remember royal family, her story. They got shafted, according to them, but they don't. She was a Hollywood girl for a decade before that.
Yep.
Yeah, seriously.
So
There was also, I have this cringe video. It's not cringe of the day because I didn't know if I wanted to do cringe of the day. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to do cringe and cute of the day at the end of the show today. But there was this video or this thing that came out. It says Meghan Markle modeling clip resurfaces amid axed Dior and Spotify deals. So she was supposedly going to get a $20 million deal from Dior that coincided just as her $20 million deal with Spotify got revoked, meaning that she wasn't going to be able to keep all of the $20 million from the Spotify deal because she wasn't able to deliver on enough content.
Did you see what the Spotify executive said about him?
Yeah,
No.
called them effing grifters.
It was hilarious.
Nice.
It sent me.
That's good.
Like he basically
that.
he's like you should have seen Harry trying to come up with podcast ideas. And like and
Yeah.
it's funny because it's like it's one of those things where it's like they have all the access and the resources, right, to do whatever they want. So she's got people who like go and do the interviews for her. Like
That's wild.
I want to be careful though here because listen, she is definitely deserving of criticism for everything she's doing, but I don't want to put all the eggs in Spotify's basket either, right? Let's not jump on defending the multi-billion-dollar company, because this contract stuff that we're seeing, I'm reading a sentence from this article and it says that the Archwell Media Company that they launched, the Markles, Harry and Markle, did not produce enough content to receive the full payout of a $20 million deal, right? And so what does that remind you of? Music artists,
Yeah, Hollywood
right?
contracts.
Getting Hollywood
I've seen
contracts,
those.
getting shafted,
You
right?
gotta
So
deliver.
I don't
If you
want to
have deliverable. If you don't have deliverable, I mean that's a huge thing because that's the reason they paid you money. You
Right,
didn't
right.
have
But
what
this
you
has
were
been in
supposed
a
to.
thing, this has been Hollywood contracts have been problematic for 20, 30 years. I don't want to just
Little longer
ignore
than that.
that
Little longer than
problem just because we don't like Meghan, right? So, I don't know why, even with this kick stuff that we're going to end up talking about, now we're getting people that play video games, making as much money as athletes. And it's a weird kind of realm we're diving into. And we're going to see more controversy and drama and contract disputes and, you didn't do this or you weren't supposed to do that. And so it's I just want to tread lightly here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to just totally be like, yeah, let's go Spotify, screw Meghan.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna go
don't
ahead and
like
say,
Beyond.
go ahead and screw Meghan and Harry. Like you go Spotify.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Like
I'm
it's
rarely down with Spotify, but
like-
I agree with this take, honestly.
like
to be
no.
honest.
Well, I mean, Spotify also didn't they make Rogan censor several episodes of the Joe Rogan?
Well, there you go.
Experience?
Well, they're gone.
I think that
They,
came
they,
out.
they made him
Yeah.
get rid of a couple of the Alex Jones episodes,
I think
right?
pull stuff off YouTube too, even though that's not their
I think
platform.
that was part of the deal, though.
Yeah,
Right.
because his is an
Well, that's what I'm
exclusive.
saying.
He couldn't have the full episode, but he could have clips up on YouTube.
No, but I think
That's
there
right.
was certain content that had to be deleted off YouTube in order to sign for Spotify.
Right, but he never had a deal with YouTube, so that was
No.
just YouTube's.
No, that was
Policy.
Spotify saying you need to go on someone else's I'm pretty sure. Spotify is part of the deal with Joe Rogan. They said, Joe, now you need to go back on these other platforms and get rid of stuff.
Okay, I could be wrong about that, but I'm not sure.
I could be making it up too, but what I know is like it was a very. It
could be total fake news here.
Yeah,
ladies and
I
gentlemen.
don't know.
Wrong.
But we'll see. We'll see. I like the independent kind of creators way more. I don't want to see. Like, I'm glad Kick has taken off. I'm glad podcasting is as big as it is, but I don't want just a new type of celebrity. You know, there should be a more communal kind of thing.
There certainly is a new type of celebrity. I know that the next couple stories we're going to talk about other newer celebrities here. But
she really couldn't have done a worse job of like trying to repair her image than to find out like, hi, I'm just mid-tier guest number 1 and I don't get to be in the presence of Saint Meghan.
Yeah.
So it says speculation that Markle doesn't directly interview her guests started circulating when writer Alison Yarrow shared on Instagram in August that she was excited to be included in the Visionary series. Yet the post showed Yarrow posing in front of a sign for the audio production house Grimlet Media and included thanks to the Archetype's producer for being an excellent interviewer. Yarrow, the author of 90s Bitch, Media Culture, and the Failed Promise of Gender Equality, that sounds like a grand old interview, appeared on the podcast in an episode titled To Be or Not to Be, in which the royal discussed how calling a woman difficult is code for the B word. Hey, settle down.
settle down, away.
Hey, Meghan, settle down. Like,
I think
you're
people
being
would just say
dramatic.
that.
You need to calm down.
You need to calm down. You're being dramatic.
I hate when people do these dog whistles. It's like,
Yeah,
dude, if
yeah.
I wanted to insult you, I'm going to come out and say it. I'm
Right.
not going to sugarcoat it or beat around the bush. Like, if I'm going to call you the B word, I'm going to. If I'm calling you difficult, it's because you're difficult, right?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's
Don't
gonna
get it
sugarcoat
twisted.
That. People are just gonna say that. Like, no one's afraid to say that. It's like the least bad word. I think a lot of people are just gonna say that.
Yeah, and it's like, well, and if you think people want to call you that, maybe you should stop acting like
Yeah,
one.
if you feel like there's
know?
merit to these accusations, you wouldn't feel so bad.
I mean, that's
right?
like one of those things where it's like, look, if somebody actually calls you the B word, then maybe I guess you address like maybe I was behaving that way. Maybe they weren't, and the person was being 100% reasonable in calling you that. But you can't just ascribe meaning to another word and then
difficult.
and then do that.
I think what you just said, she should have done to the word difficult. If someone said difficult, right? He's using a specific word. It's friendly, right? It's non-combative, or I don't know if it was a guy or a girl that said it, but. Right, like listen and reflect and be like, am I being a little bit annoying here? Am I not, am I pushing back too hard? Whatever it may be, you know?
It is fair to say though that Spotify has, for the most, I don't think they've censored anything Rogan's been doing since then.
They just put up little warnings.
They put up the like, you might actually be getting real information. You don't know if you necessarily want that. Like, how dare you interview RFK because he might give you vax.
Well, that was the whole thing that Peter Hotez was saying, that he was like, oh, Spotify's not even trying anymore.
Yeah.
And
How do you guys feel about that situation?
I haven't. Really
I'm here
followed
for it. Wreck this guy. This is hilarious.
How do you guys feel about Kim, like the guy, like coming to his house?
That
a little weird.
That's the only one where I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't get behind that, dude. You got kids. Stop.
Yeah, it's a little much.
What if they showed up at Meghan Markle's house? You know what she should do? She should start a briefcase company. Did you ever see?
Somebody in the chat, they said, imagine she gets the briefcase and it says no deal.
I forgot. Yeah, she was a.
That's so funny.
Oh man.
She was a no deal.
She was,
pretty sure.
she was a deal or no deal girl, and then she got
Yeah.
mad because
Wow.
this is one of the
Amazing.
stories that kind of put everybody back on the path of finding her annoying. She's like, and the show objectifies women because she's like, I went to
my
college,
goodness.
and I
Stop.
was like, yeah, but
Stop.
you weren't hired at this job because you went to college. You were hired at this job because you won the genetic lottery,
Right.
and you're very, very attractive. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with just being attractive and having a job that seems to celebrate that attraction. She clearly went on later and got to do her intellectual thing on her podcast where she whines about men in the patriarchy with the likes of Emily Ratatouille and all the other women that make whole careers out of being mad at men. Right? Like, it's, though, to be fair, like, I think for
Isn't that what Andrew Tate does though?
make a whole career out of whining about and a lot of these people, like, I mean, we do that. Like, even here, I whine about Hollywood. Like, the reason people don't like when Meghan Markle does it, what we were talking about yesterday, is like she's whining from the golden throne.
Yeah.
When you've got that much money, like,
Isn't that what Andrew Tate does?
when the average person,
I don't know. I don't know if it's the same.
when the average person complains about something, it's marketable because you're an everyman and people can understand where you're coming from with your complaints. When a Meghan Markle or maybe even an Andrew Tate complains, I would say Andrew Tate's better about it. I think he's more intellectual with his complaints, but I could be wrong.
It's just a
Certainly
rich
more
person
intellectual.
complaining that he's being held down.
Yeah.
She's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's literally was being
Sure,
detained
it
and,
is a little bit.
actually
It is
being held
different,
down
but
and by
you
a
know,
country, you know what I mean. So it's like I get what you're saying, but it's like I think the the difference here is stark. Like you're actually in Romanian prison in Eastern Europe,
That's true.
European prison versus like Meghan Markle, who's like literally married to a prince of England, is now, or I guess not anymore, whatever the situation is.
Also, she's doing it on like the
I don't know,
basis of ideas that nobody really buys into anymore, which is that
True.
that the patriarchy is oppressing her. Like, did you ever see, like, if you actually want to
like
get
you're part of it
frustrated
now,
at
honey.
something, watch the interview of where her, Oprah, and Harry are all saying
Oh, that's a
"woe is
great one.
me." Well, they're all
That's such a
saying
good
"woe
one.
is me,"
Yeah.
and it's just like that doesn't resonate with the average person.
It's a banger.
Yeah.
Like
If you
Andrew
wanna
Tate or
let-
not, Andrew Tate preaches to a message to men that there's a void in society for them right now, where there aren't many good role models for young men preaching any type of message other than lie down and be as dormant as you can for the sake of not promoting toxic masculinity and whatever else other garbage that
Right.
they're producing, right? What she's saying is like, I'm worth millions of dollars. I want to be left alone, but I also want to be complaining about having millions of dollars and not being left alone. There's a disconnect there.
That honestly sounds like you just described Andrew Tate, though, right? He's got.
He doesn't say anything about being
I'm going
left
on.
alone.
Yeah, he is.
No.
He's talking about the authorities. Oh,
He
these
was
Romanian
actually
authorities.
arrested.
I know he was, and he's just complaining about. I'm just saying, like, they're way more similar than they are different. It's rich people complaining to the average person that there's someone out to get you.
Yeah, but Andrew Tate actually has a decent message couched in a lot of his jargon.
I bet people say that about Meghan. Honestly,
They're wrong.
Listen,
Do they really?
I agree with you, Brett, but she's got fans. She does, whether we like it or not, right? We have people who believe
sure
in her
she does.
message.
I'm sure she does.
Chad, is anybody in the chat a fan of Meghan? I mean, that's totally possible, I suppose. Like, there could be fans of Meghan Markle in the chat. I have no idea.
She definitely has fans. She definitely got people that are going to simp over her.
I see this trend a lot with very rich people that get on the podcasts that somehow they're still being held down. And I know Andrew Tate, like, I'm picking the extremes here. 'cause
He
we
is
just
kind
talked
of like
about it.
cool Uncle Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
He's your uncle that never had kids and drives a cool car, Jordan Peterson.
I mean, patriarchy equals matrix, like, right? You know, when Jordan Peterson was complaining, he's like, no, it was this specific group, it's the Canadian government, this specific law that's trying to criminalize me, right? He's not just talking about this kind of vague thing in the void that's out to get him.
C16, yeah.
So, you know, if you're going to complain, I think they're both grifting a little bit. I guess that's my point of it all. I think they're both grifting. You know, if you want to complain or enact real change, you should be more specific with what you talk about, you know?
I guess I still feel like I really still feel like Andrew Tate's been very specific about the things he's talked about. I just think Meghan Markle is more like my patriarchy kind of situation. I don't know. I see what you're saying though. I can see the parallels you're drawing there. So
There's a
Clint,
$20 one, yep.
Clint's got a super chat for 20. It says, doesn't she not do the interviews? I heard the producers ask the guest the questions and she records herself in the conversation later.
No, what they're saying is that she did that with smaller guests, but she actually sat in and had the discussions with the bigger guests. So it says, although the episodes include the Duchess in deep conversation with A-list celebrities with guests like Jamila Jamil, Serena Williams, Paris Hilton, and Mindy Kaling, they also have clips of experts, academics, and authors talking about specific topics, including Yarrow, psychologist Laura Cray, and sociologist Nancy Wang Yun. So I guess what they're saying is like the Yarrows, the Crays, and the Yuns of the world don't get any actual interaction with Meghan, whereas the Serena Williams and the Jamila Jamils and the Mindy Kalings of the world
I see.
and the Paris Hiltons of the world, they get to actually interact with her because it's a mean girl clique where she's like, you're not cool enough.
Yeah, you
to
can't
be
sit
in,
with us.
like you're not worth my time. I'll just pawn this off on a producer
True.
who can do that. Also, just imagine having those resources, right?
Right.
Like where you can just like
Yeah, seriously.
like sign me up. Like that wouldn't that be something, right? Where's my $20 million Spotify deal? I can,
seriously,
hey, if they want me
seriously.
to complain about the patriarchy, I will complain about the patriarchy for $20 million.
Yeah, I'll do a lot of things for that.
Like
kind of
I will absolutely do that. Like
Yeah.
sign me up. Like I will blame the patriarchy for all this stuff. I'm down. All right.
self-flagellate.
We got some. I mean, that's what a lot of it is these days, right?
It is.
A lot of it
It
is
really
self-flagellation.
is. Yeah.
We got some super chats there.
Yes, we do. All right. Bang Bang Lulu says, shout out to PCC. I drop a like, everyone. With Brett, it's always a good show. Asterisk cracks open a Bud Light.
Hey, I don't know what that last part means, but leave me out of this. I'm not part of that debate.
A Brett Light. A
That was
Bert
sharp-
Light.
that was sharp there.
A Brett Light, like, and you know, it's a. Can you imagine, like, if Tim did this, like, if Tim Tim should just let Ian do the show. If Tim's sick, he should just.
I was wondering about that on the way here.
Dude, let Ian just, like, you know why? Because if he has somebody else do it, like if he has Phil do it or if he has Hannah Claire do it, there's going to be the expectation that it sticks somewhat to the formula. But if you put Ian in Tim's chair, nobody's expecting the
God.
formula, and nor should they.
Dude, you're playing with
I had a bunch of-
gasoline and lit matches with that one.
Yeah, you're gonna make Kellen's Heart really difficult to have
Like-
some real segments out of that are just gonna be continuous
Like-
for about 10 minutes. It's gonna be
Like,
difficult.
chat, what say you? How would people in the chat feel if they let Ian just run the show?
Yeah,
There-
I'm
I,
actually
I would
interested to see-
watch it, but it would be very different. It
There
would
was
be
a bunch
very
of people
different
on
show.
Discord last night because they were like, "Where's IRL?" And they were like, "Bert and half Armenian Charles should do a show just ripping on each other."
You should.
The whole 2 hours.
Oh, you know what you guys should do?
I would watch that.
Um,
I could be live studio audience for that.
Well,
Would
I'll
be called-
laugh super loud and stuff.
Ian's would
eat
be called
popcorn.
Graphcast.
Graphcast.
And it would be half graphene, you know, and like
And
half
half-
talk about graphene, and the other half can be talking
Religion.
about religion.
yeah.
Like I'm down. Like
You
I,
and-
yeah.
Bert, you and Charles should do that thing where you guys insult each other and you try not to laugh. What's that game called?
Dude, I'm so down.
I've seen
I
it's
don't know.
from like
It's-
10
it's
years
on
ago,
YouTube.
early internet trend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where you get
there's-
two
there's
people.
numerous shows that
Yeah.
are like that.
I would love to do a comedy show with Charles. I'm
There's
just
that
putting
one
that out there
cast.
for the record.
Also, I want to
That'd be
point
great.
out. Look, I pointed this out on my Instagram story yesterday. This hurricane that's going on, not my fault. Okay, Brett with one T. It's not even a real Brett. It's a fake Brett. Everyone knows that that's not how you spell the actual name. So don't blame me if something in your life gets destroyed by this hurricane, because it's not my fault. It's Brett with one T. Blame Bret Hart. That's what I said yesterday. Blame Bret the Hitman Hart.
You're not convincing me.
You can blame him. Don't blame me for it. I want them to actually let Ian run the show for a whole episode. That would be fantastic.
Well,
The
let's see
last
what
of my
happens.
kind.
Let's do one more.
Says, Titan League fighting. Look it up. Boys.
Boys, boys,
And then the one under that was the one from Gordon Shumway about Jenna Fox. So.
Yeah. We
All
talked about
right,
that one.
let's save the rest. We will come back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Amouranth. I talked to everyone a little bit before the show about this, and everybody seemed to have an opinion on this. So right now, Kick seems to be making a huge play to come for Twitch because nobody seems to like. Does anybody know anyone that actually likes Twitch anymore?
No,
like
I see
don't know
people-
anyone that likes Twitch anymore.
People think it's the only place you can
Yeah.
stream.
It pisses
they
me off.
actually
Yeah.
think that.
Yeah.
Like
Wow.
right now, Twitch is trying to reintroduce the 70-30 creator split, but only like
Yeah, sure.
2.5% of creators even qualify for that. And it's got a limit on it where like over 100,000, then it reverts back to 50-50.
Wow.
Whereas Kick is a 95-5 creator
Wow.
split. Like who's not taking that if they can do it, right?
Yeah,
Like, and
it
they're
seems like
making
their UI
and they're
is
making a
good.
huge play for some of Twitch's biggest creators, like XQC, who got what $100 million deal.
For 2 years, yeah.
Some was saying 70 million. Other people said 100 million. They're saying Amouranth got 30 million.
I'm
That's
surprised Amouranth got less than XQC.
Why?
She's gonna
glass ceiling, bro.
Kick is gonna take the shackles off her, right? There's certain she's NSFW, right? She is basically a corn star.
Didn't Mix try this a long time ago too?
I don't know.
Tried to lure a bunch of to lure a bunch of
Mixer.
streamers. Yeah.
Mixer, yeah.
So-
but they didn't have 95.5.
And they only had one. They had Ninja. That's it.
Right.
And it was the platform itself was very buggy and kind of broken. Like Kick is fine. It works fine.
Right.
But yeah, I'm surprised. I think she's gonna draw in non-gamers where XQC will not.
But but that's the goal, right? They want to bring in people from all sides. They want to bring in the gamers. They
Well,
want
that's
to bring
why
in the
I'm
non-gamers.
surprised she's getting paid less than him. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I see.
because I think she's got broader appeal.
Also, these aren't
We'll
exclusive
see.
deals. They don't have to just
Yeah,
stream
not
on
even
Kick.
exclusivity. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a huge part of why they're doing it. So you can,
like
you can
and
diversify
then,
your income.
And then didn't Aiden Ross go to Rumble? Like,
Oh no, Aiden Ross. I mean, he might be streaming on Rumble, but he went to Kick as well. He was like the first guy to kind of. He's been there for months now. He's been trying to like promote it and tell people how great it is. And he's dude. I checked the other day. It's like 70,000 live viewers for his stream, and he's just a kid who talks. You know, so I'm excited. Twitch needed a true competitor. It's sad that YouTube wasn't able to figure out how to do something like this.
oddly enough, Amazon wins either way because Amazon does Kick's web hosting.
Yeah.
Amazon, didn't they get the Star Wars contract a few years ago with the U.S. government? Like Amazon, I'm pretty sure they're AWS. It's like a monopoly in this country.
But I just know that they own Twitch and now they're doing the streaming. They're running the site for Kick, so they get paid either way.
I wonder if there'll
on
be
this deal.
do some secret throttling if this continues.
And I think
Or
a bunch
botting
of
as well.
Well,
You
a
know, you
bunch of
don't really know.
layoffs have happened at Twitch recently,
Good.
Yep.
and everyone understands that Twitch is ban happy and in very, very SJW. As much as I hate that term,
true,
very,
though.
very social justice oriented with a lot of their does anybody still understand why Dr. Disrespect was?
No.
No.
On
Nothing
Twitch?
knows.
Yeah, like I never found out. Like I saw somebody else,
Just being
some
mean,
other
I guess.
video that
Who
I was
knows?
watching earlier today mentioned it, and I was like, oh yeah, they never really did say.
I don't know.
Why
he
he was
might have
banned.
like kind of dropped the because that was a while ago. It's like what 3
years
years
ago.
ago.
At least
Yeah,
2
he
years
might have
ago.
dropped the breadcrumbs along the way since then. But from what I've heard is there's some kind of ongoing legal dispute, and so he will not talk about it. I know he went to an awards show maybe around the same time, and he filmed in the bathroom, not doing anything gross. He just like popped his head out above the stall. But because he was filming in a bathroom, which is illegal, there's all these repercussions. Like he was kicked out of the event, I'm pretty sure. He got a strike on Twitch. So I really don't know. I don't know. But he's had success on YouTube, which is weird that not more people are kind of migrating there with how well he's been doing. That's the guy I would love to get on the culture war, because I think if you have ever actually watched his stream, he's very based, but he kind of stays out of politics.
Yeah.
So it'd be really, really interesting to get rack his brain for an hour or two, you know? 'Cause he's an older guy too. Well, most of these streamers, right, 20-year-olds, I think he's in his 40s, if I'm not mistaken. So he's a more seasoned
that.
kind of gamer, if you will. He's a cool
the other
guy.
thing is like, look, there's like a lot of this money is being propped up by gambling funds. It looks
Yeah,
like because it's
yeah.
what's Ed Craven or
Well,
whatever.
Twitch banned that.
Yeah. So this is Stake. Is that what it's called? Stake.com.
Steak, yeah. It's that, yeah.
And you
steak.
said that's Saudi owned or Saudi run.
There's a lot of. I mean, if anyone knows who Moon is, Moon did like he does always exposés. He gives me a new reason to be blackpilled like every week. He releases a video, but they just did a video on it, and apparently a lot of the money that goes back can be tied to like Saudi oil funds, etc. And Saudi oil is all nation state oil.
So they're coming for everything. They're coming for golf.
Yeah.
They're coming for streaming. Like,
Yeah.
does anybody know anybody who's watching Live? Or is that what it's called? Live, the golf.
Yeah,
Charles.
LIV.
That's it.
Their golf league or
The
whatever.
one guy's, maybe Andrew.
Yeah.
Because they're in the golf.
Like,
I kind of follow it. I've just never been a big golfing guy, so
Yeah.
Right.
and let's face it. Like, for the most part, the reason people would like someone like Amouranth might want to move to Kick is because they would loosen up the regulations on what she's allowed to do on the stream. It's also funny considering just a couple months ago we were talking about her and her like case where
Yeah,
like,
whatever
she was
happened to that?
Nothing. Like I literally nothing came of where like she's on the phone with her husband who's supposedly abusing her and nothing came of
yeah.
it. Do you remember? Do you remember that?
I remember that. Nothing came of it. Yeah.
Nothing came of it.
I saw a comment when she announced she was going to Kick, and someone was like, "Is your boyfriend cool with it?" or something, like poking fun at the fact that I guess it was a hoax.
If it's true.
I mean,
yeah, I don't think
if
it's
it
true.
is, it's genius. Like
Yeah.
this is what I talk about. Like we do live in a weird world now where you don't actually know whether anything's real or not.
No.
Like you don't.
No.
Like
True.
like
non-reality.
everyone just and it kind of desensitizes you to everything that's going on in the world because you're like when we were talking about Andrew Tate, I said, at a certain point there was a time when you watched movies back in the for as long as Hollywood has been around, back in the day, these studios worked very hard to at least project an image of innocence and what'd be the word for it? Not just innocence, but like wholesomeness of the celebrities. So the celebrities were portrayed as these really, really good people because it would hurt their sales if these celebrities were not seen as good people. So they get a DUI, the DUI gets covered up. They get a domestic violence case, nobody finds out about it. Now, you just kind of have to accept that whoever you're watching might be an awful person, and you have to disassociate in a way.
Yeah.
If you're going to continue watching it. Like the illusion of celebrities as anything more than just flawed people is now gone. Like so people who are watching Amouranth, they're like, did she fake that's extremely scummy. If you faked a domestic violence issue for clout, and people are just like, yeah, maybe, but I like watching her. Like, you just have to accept that might be true now.
Yeah,
and back in the day, your brain wasn't forced to kind of wrestle with that type of problem. Now, like, is there anything you watch where, like, does anybody here have any creators that they follow that they would buy are 110% wholesome?
No, everything's too transparent.
I don't think any human being is
Exactly.
100%. Maybe
Yeah.
Mary here.
You're absolutely right, Serge. There's no humans are not 100% wholesome or perfect. So why would sticking a camera and a microphone in front of them change that?
In fact, I think when people are making it seem as if they are perfect and they are all the time, like wholesome all the time, etc., I'm like, are you really though? Because you'll be the first person I've ever met where you're like that.
You can kind of tell whether it's streaming or whatever it is. If someone's trying to like act too perfect, you can tell like they're stressed. They're walking on eggshells all the time because they're trying to be too perfect, right?
Definitely.
So you can definitely tell that, and it wears on you. The people that are like relaxed, like they just don't care, you know?
Also, the internet rewards authenticity or the ability to portray authenticity.
Yeah, portrayed
like
authenticity.
people can smell really fake from a mile away.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go well for people like that because you can tell that they're putting on some type of act, and that doesn't always work. Because a lot of the times they talk about, like, for the average person who has like an internet persona, it's not necessarily them, but it's them
Augmented.
turned up to 11, as they say in pro wrestling, right? So it's an augmented version of yourself that's there to exaggerate your like certain tendencies, mute certain tendencies for the sake of viewability.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, when you're watching a movie or a television show, that's not you at all.
Yeah.
So your image outside of there is more important because there's a strong distinction between the portrayals. Like I watch, what did I watch? Last night I watched multiple Tom Clancy movies. Everyone go watch Patriot Games, and Clear and Present Danger as soon as they're done with this, but they're great. But when I watch it, I don't imagine that when Harrison Ford is done making his movies that he goes and rescues people from terrorists. I understand that it's acting, whereas there's not a strong distinction between a streamer and who they portray as on camera as to who they are off camera.
Yeah.
Right?
Because they're not really playing a role. They're playing like a character of themselves.
Exactly. So I don't know, man. It's interesting to see, but it's also, to me, it's good because alt tech needs to become more palatable for people. And I know that, like I said, there have been other examples of people trying to lure streamers away. There was people having the discussion, like, would it have been better to get 100 smaller streamers
I think so.
or 2 bigger streamers? Why do you think it would have been better that way?
It's just kind of it's scattershot, right? So it's like you know, however much money they had. So let's just say 100 mil, right? Just what they used for XQC. Imagine how many streamers would have signed exclusively to Kick for even 50 grand. You know, so you can promise guaranteed income. I think you'd get a lot of medium-sized creators who are gonna grow and bring. Like people forget that, like, just like any other industry, there are new celebrities coming up and old ones that kind of fall off and getting forgotten, right? Ninja, who we were just talking about, was the guy. So much so that he was like the first streamer to ever get a deal like this for Mixer. Rest in peace, Mixer. But no one talks about him anymore. No one talks about. I mean, he's still around the scene, but no one talks about Ninja anymore. You know, so we're gonna get new players that rise up, and you know, I just think it might have been, not that it's foolish to do what they're doing, but it could have been a better idea to spread your resources and assets around. But they might do that next, right?
They might.
So look,
We'll see.
70, like what person's going to turn down $30 million or $70 million for a contract? They're not going to do that.
Everyone
right?
will say they will, and then
She
none of them will.
also shaded them because on her 7th anniversary at Twitch, she left the stream early to go and,
that's
and
awesome.
stream on Kick.
Well,
Nice.
dude, Twitch. I'm sorry, but they deserve it. They suspended Kai, another popular
Cenat.
streamer, because he opened a pair of shoes
Yeah,
on
yeah.
stream that Kick sent him.
Yep.
He was not saying, check out these
Unreal.
shoes, go buy them. He was not saying this is a Kick sponsored stream. He was literally just like, hey, I'm going to do an unboxing. I got sent something today. And they were just Kick shoes, right? They were just Kick
Yeah.
branded. Like, I think they were Jordans or something. I don't even remember. But, and Twitch booted him for that. Right?
Wow.
That's so they're
really trying to end that website. I feel like
Dude.
the CEOs are really trying to just run Twitch into the ground.
They
All the
also
stuff that I heard
lost
about it last
Twitch
week
lost their CEO, right? Like fairly recently.
Makes sense.
yeah, I don't know who they replaced it with though.
Would you say that Twitch is a dead company that's twitching?
Ah, got him.
There you go. Yeah,
Nice.
barely there. But it's what people know. They truly don't think there's anywhere else you can go. I remember like blowing I forget who I was talking to. I was blowing somebody's mind when I told them like, oh yeah, like you can watch video games live on YouTube, like live streams,
Yeah.
YouTube. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
You
like
should have told him that
Facebook
Ludwig is now
gaming
Mobile
is
Mail on
big
YouTube.
too. Like,
Yeah.
what'd you say?
Should have told him that Ludwig, who's an ex-Twitch streamer, I think, is now
Oh, yeah,
Mobile
yeah.
Mail on YouTube and has just as many followers, just as
Uh-huh.
many video views, etc., and is doing just as well as he was
Yep.
when he was on Twitch.
Um,
People don't even know that. It's
Anytime
amazing.
I've ever streamed online, it's been YouTube. Like I
Really?
didn't bother
Same here.
with Twitch.
Same here.
Yeah. So Twitch, I mean,
Well, I worked on Twitch
I like-
prior, but still,
you know,
not nearly the same numbers as YouTube.
I appreciate what they started because before Twitch, it was very rare to see a live streamer, let alone that kind of like,
Yeah.
webcam, my face while I'm playing video
Right,
game, right?
right.
That was kind of a rare thing to see. Twitch so really brought this industry up, but they've been making a lot of mistakes the past handful of years, right? And other companies are going to step in and do things right. So.
And I mean that's the essence of the competition, right? You
Right.
want to if you're going to fumble the ball repeatedly and make it impossible for creators to grow on your platform because they can't actually make any money off of it, then somebody's going to step in, and then I guess you still have to ask questions like where did the money come from, how much like.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: even if Kick ends up like Mixer and just bombs. Good on the streamers for making their money while they
Yep.
can. I'm not going to.
I was just going to say there's no way this is a bad situation because just
For
like you
anybody,
said, the
yeah.
people, the Amouranth, XQC, they get a huge payday. And you know what? At the very worst, we're seeing at least some rules change already on Twitch, right? We're seeing the 70, even though it's only for 2% of creators, we're seeing that 70-30 split being reintroduced. So it's like, if they, I can only see upside from this because it's either going to force Twitch to change what they're
Yeah.
doing or they're going to keep losing.
Could they just buy
talent.
Kick,
No way.
or could Kick buy Twitch?
Amazon probably could do
buy-
a buyout.
The amount of money that they're
No.
giving to these new streamers and these deals, I don't think there's any way that Twitch currently would be able to just buy them. I don't know what Twitch is sitting on right now, but for the last while, I don't think they've been bringing in enough money.
I'd be willing to. Well, they are because of how screwed up their split is.
And like you said, people still
Yeah,
rely on
and
it.
then they
Okay, that
started.
makes
I
sense.
remember,
Yeah.
like, if you linked your PayPal to get around that, like, fee that they take, they started penalizing you for that. So there's certain things you can and can't do. But
It's worse than YouTube a couple years ago. That's crazy,
Twitch is
dude.
Twitch
Wow,
is
Twitch is
bad.
amazing.
Yeah, I could see them though because they're Amazon, telling Kick like your content is, we don't approve of your content. Gone. We're not hosting your content.
Yeah.
So I could see Kick having to deal with that, where they need to maybe hit up like Rumble or someone and get on that infrastructure.
Well, look at
But-
Rumble managed to do an Andrew Tate stream with 432,000 concurrents and managed to
Yeah.
not like. I'm surprised it didn't crash the.
Yeah, I'm surprised there were no issues with Rumble.
Yeah,
huh?
dude.
Oh wow.
People are. Bertman says, "What is an Amaranth?"
I've said it like 6 times in the chat.
And nobody know. Oh, there's a $20 super chat there from Disco Jensen.
Alrighty, Disco Jensen. This super chat is for Wyatt Derp. The struggle is real.
Thank you for that. Guys, by the way, I really do mean this is Brett recommends for the day. Go watch all the old Tom Clancy movies, like Clear and Present Danger, The Hunt for Red October.
I've seen that one.
Patriot Games,
Seen that
Some
one
of
too.
All Fears.
Seen that one
Like, dude,
too.
the best thing about it, the old tech. So I'm watching
Oh,
it,
yeah.
and they're
Yeah,
using like
true.
reel-to-reel tapes to record people. They've got the like in in Patriot games, I kid you not, like, you know how I know these people are rich? Because his wife answers a car phone. It's it's got the cord on it. So he calls her from a car phone to his ear, right? She answers a car phone, and they don't, like, she doesn't have like a Bluetooth on because it was 2002. Bluetooth wasn't a freaking thing. If it was, it wasn't in the movies, right? So like she answers the phone, like, how is she talking? Is there a speakerphone in that car?
Probably like OnStar.
Incredible.
OnStar
Had to have been like the top line to get like phone call functions back then.
Dude, it's like all the old tech. There's microfiche. Like, it's just so great, and I love that time period. Like, it's just funny because there's just so much, like, you realize back then, like, how much more cohesive this country was because, like, you may have had different political views, but you were an American first. And now that's in debate. Where
Which
now
we
attribute the views of the opposition as being anti-American, and both sides do this.
True.
So it's just crazy. Like I'm watching it, and it's just everyone should go back and rewatch those movies.
I always liked watching like right around 2003 to 2010, right? That era of television. You can see the progression of cell phones like before your eyes. Right? People are using like little Nokias and flip phones, and all of a sudden like the new season comes out and they have iPhones and stuff.
Right.
And I always thought that was really cool. Nowadays, it's been just iPhones for 15 years now, so it's like you don't even notice a difference. But
what they'll do is like I like it when like something will happen where they give a character like a different phone. Like you should do that where like on the following they gave Kevin Bacon's character like an Android. Like certain characters had Android, certain characters had Apple phones. Here's what I think. If I was Apple TV, if I hosted a show on Apple TV, all the good guys get iPhones and all the bad guys get Androids.
Like,
that's perfect.
To like it's like a trigger in your brain. Like you see somebody with that Android phone, like must be a villain. Must be a bad guy. Like he allows there to be a green box in the group chat. Like what kind of sociopath does that? I'm the kind of sociopath that does that.
No, here's what we'll do. The good guys are gonna swear off technology after like 2005, so they're all gonna be running around with walkie-talkies and pagers and stuff. All the good guys have like AirPods in and iPhones and Macs and everything.
They like in that movie, like you just see a guy like dramatically answer a fax.
Oh my god.
He goes. He picks it up. And he reads it really, really like it's freaking great, dude. It's like imagine back then, like when bad stuff happened and you had to like. And the documents coming out, and you're like, it's incredible. It's incredible.
My favorite thing to do is watch older movies and just be like, this movie would have been over in 5 minutes if we had cell phones.
The X-Files. It's like, Scully's like, zoink. Aliens discovered, but I guess like you could work your way around that. Like what you say is like, ooh, they have shield tech that every time you take a photo, it scrambles the picture and it doesn't turn out. But it's like, the X-Files would have been over in season 1 if Scully wasn't always like passing out right before the aliens showed up. So like Mulder and like, oh no, Scully, she's unconscious. Pulls out his phone and takes a picture.
Boom, done.
That was another show that when the X-Files came back, they gave them Android phone. But they weren't like good. They were like HTCs. They didn't give them like a Galaxy. They gave them like these like clunky looking HTCs that I had, and I'm like, look, I have this phone. Dude who works for the FBI is not using this phone. I'm sorry.
You can buy those like you can go to the grocery store and you can buy touchscreen phones or now like the pay to go. So it's like if you're a small director, you spend $40, $50 to get a realistic looking smartphone.
You know what I also hate? I hate bad cell phone acting.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you what. Like, if you're an actor, and you put that phone in your ear, and the screen is visible, you should be fired. Or the director should say second take because it's like lock screen. Like I can see that it says lock screen. Like just
take a screenshot of a phone call and then open up your camera.
Well, no, just make it black because when you answer the phone, it goes away. You can't see anything on the screen when you actually are talking on the phone. Bad cell phone acting, man. It's a crime. It's a crime.
I agree. I see a lot of really, really cringy acting on like these like TikTok and etc. videos now that I've just been like, you guys like 17 million people like this? Like okay, like wow, I guess I'm just out of loop. I guess not being good at acting is like cool now. It just matters who you are and what your what your image is, I guess. But
all right, let's go to super chats. We got some super chats there.
Alrighty. see here. Bad Kitty Mama says, Serge, your hair is serving.
Nice.
It's coming back. You guys
It's
remember when
surging.
you cut it off? My head?
Hey
You guys
man,
remember
we're
that? It's
coming
back.
up on episode 400.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it sounds like Kevin's gonna cut his hair.
Might
Whoa,
need
that's
to
crazy.
take your
He needs
hair out.
another haircut.
No, you're not taking my hair.
Like
I
that
gotta do this for a year.
becomes a ritual. Every 100 episodes, we cut Serge's hair.
That's funny.
Like
Hey,
I'm down.
As long as Wesley doesn't do it, I'm cool with it. Let's do that.
Disco Jensen with the $5 chat says, an accusation is enough to destroy a man in the eyes of a woman. Just look at chat's reaction to this Tate talk. I was lurking, watching it a little bit. The Andrew Tate stuff is still a fiery hot
It's
topic
very
for people.
controversial, right?
Yeah.
Like what I've noticed is like, look, I don't read the comments
Yeah.
because one, I don't have time, and two, like you'd go insane from reading all the unsolicited opinions people have of you.
Yeah.
But like I do pay attention to like how videos do vote, like down vote versus up vote wise, right? And Andrew Tate videos are almost always a lower rating because it's inherently divisive amongst people,
Right.
which is fine. Like I encourage people, like share your thoughts. Like if you think I'm doing a horrible job or you think my take on Andrew Tate is bad, I encourage everyone to share those thoughts because that's the whole point, right? Like I hate it when people like close the comment section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Me too.
what people
Me too.
want. People want to engage, right?
Yeah.
And people can disagree with our takes on this, but I actually think that I've gone out of my way for the most part
Yeah.
by not really having a strong opinion on it because I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
And no one
find
does.
all of it interesting.
Yeah, me too.
So.
James Orenthal Nguyen says, this episode is the patriarchy, and I'm here for it.
Based.
That's us. Well, like that's us. We're the patriarchy. We're Patcast.
Patriarchy culture crisis.
Yeah,
All right.
let's go. Let's hold off on the rest. We got a couple more things I want to discuss today, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Also, I'd like a third crisis party if somebody wants to help out with that. Don't make me do that at the end. So the Oscars are getting absolutely roasted, ladies and gentlemen, because the new restrictions for inclusivity on Best Picture are going to be going into effect in 2024. And it's not just like us, the general public, that's roasting them. It's the creatives that are roasting them as well. So it was, they basically said, look, if you release The Godfather today, it wouldn't be eligible for Best Picture.
No.
So let's go through some of the requirements that you have to have now if you want to be eligible for Best Picture at the Oscars. So it says, starting in March 2024, movies will not be considered for Best Picture nomination unless they meet 2 out of 4 standards. One of them is featuring a lead or significant supporting character from a, quote, underrepresented racial or ethnic group, have a main storyline that focuses on a underrepresented group, or at least 30% of the cast comes from 2 or more underrepresented groups. Women, ethnic minorities, LGBTQIA+, or disabled. First of all, women actually make up the majority of the population, so that is cap, ladies and gentlemen. That is absolute
pure
cap.
cap.
But the other thing is, like, what if you're from, like, this is the first thing I thought of. I was like, what if you're from a different type of underage group? What if you're just from, like, what if you're, like, a victim of a hit and run car crash? That's an underrepresented group in movies. What if somebody hit you with a car, you didn't die, you're still alive, you're healthy, but my goodness, you got hit by a car once. You're underrepresented in the media, right?
Yeah.
I am a 5'5" Croatian, Polish, American citizen. I want to know what that representation is. Is it just because skin color is white? Like how far do you go down the identity ladder to tell me what the hell is underrepresented? Because these are arbitrary guidelines that are bullshit.
Yes.
They don't actually help anything, and they're anti-creative.
Well,
Yeah,
the
definitely.
Hollywood has embraced equity instead of just equality, you know, and just being inclusive, right? They need it to see. Whenever you try to do something on paper, it's never going to work out, and that's what it is. Like on paper, I get it. You get representation from every group. It's one big family. We're all happy, but it doesn't work out that way. It doesn't.
That manifesto that I know so much about.
Right?
Isn't this basically what the Oscars have been doing this whole time, and now they're just making it like, yeah, we're actually doing it. They're saying the quiet part out loud.
Modifying it. Yeah.
Sort of. I mean, I think the people that were actually in charge of like voting were just always kind of woke in their bubble, but now it's like, no, these are the actual guidelines and criteria we're going to follow. So now movies are going to take this into account and produce.
Yeah,
setting
when
in
they're
stone.
going, because they already have to take into account when it comes to getting actual tax breaks
Yeah.
in funds, because there's other rules
Yeah.
in place. But here's the thing: first of all, what is the vagueness of significant supporting character?
Yeah.
like there's no definition of what that is. Like that could mean anything.
Yeah.
Like what does that actually mean? Also, like when you think about it, like I don't know if anybody here like you make music, right? So you create things. Like sometimes it is daunting enough just to create something on your own. And like it's very easy to like start writing and then just give up because it's too much work. It's very hard to do. So imagine like you're going through all of the work. It's a Herculean effort to actually get something creative made from brain to page to camera to editing bay to post production and outward. And then now you're like, now I have these dorks at the academy telling me who I can hire, what I can include. It would just make a lot of people want to just stop.
Yeah.
Like why would you want to bother? If some nerd in a bow tie is going to handicap you and tell you who you can hire for your movie.
Yeah, that's why I love, like, I scrolled down, it made me laugh, literally, scrolling down to see All Quiet on the Western Front, how it features a white male cast. I'm like, interesting. You think?
I got him. Okay.
You think World War I Germany, all male, all white cast? Interesting take. Yeah. That's very interesting.
And it wouldn't qualify.
It wouldn't qualify anymore. And that was it was a Best Picture nominee according to them. And
Have
it's
you
like
seen
it
it?
just suddenly would be. I've not actually seen the entire film.
Really good.
Yeah, I assume it would be. I've read the book, but I've never seen the actual film.
I got a
I'm not
message the other
saying
day.
that I really have read the book, but
I got a message the other day where I get like unsolicited messages all the time. People are always
Nice.
very polite.
You too?
Yes. People are
Hey,
always
cool, me
very
too,
polite.
bro.
But there's like usually it's in relation to like a story post that I make, so it's attached to something. But I got a message the other day. Now I don't know if this guy's watching or if he even watches the show. I'm assuming he does because it was about movies, and I don't post. I post more about movies on my Twitter than my Instagram. But the message just said, "Going to go see Barbie. Oppenheimer is 3 hours long. Plus, it's only white men in the cast, so I don't want to see it." And I'm like, this was an unsolicited message to me about how he's not going to see Oppenheimer because it's full of white people. And I'm like, so this is not some, like, when people tell you that this isn't part of the culture, you're overreacting. You're not overreacting. This is permeating the culture.
Yeah.
This is just a random message from somebody that I'd never talked to in my life.
Yeah.
Says basically, I don't want to see this movie because of race.
Yeah.
I was like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I started coaching youth sports, I started to see maybe 2 years ago, they have like these safe spaces for only people of color in the school. I'm like, so you guys are choosing segregation now?
Yep.
Like you were like supporting it, you're promoting it. I'm like, what the heck happened?
Yeah.
What the heck happened? So, yeah, it's scary, Brett, and this is going to keep getting worse and worse until like the whole industry just kind of falls on its head.
So this was Richard Dreyfuss's statement. He says it's completely. So this is a director says it's completely ridiculous. One director fumed to the Post. I'm for diversity, but to make you cast certain types of people if you want to get nominated, that makes the whole process contrived. No shit. The person who is right for the part should get that part. Why should you be limited in your choices? But it's the world we are in. This is crazy. Now, see, my friend. My Hollywood friend that isn't named in this, you are part of an industry that did this to yourself because you introduced the virus that is virtue signaling to all that have done this on Twitter for years and years and years and years. Yep. You are living in a problem you created for yourself by allowing this sentiment to gain you validation on social media, and you thought it would just stay there.
Yeah.
You never thought it would leave the internet. Well, it has, and now you're going to have to pay the piper the next time you want to make a movie, and you're making a movie about World War II Germany, and they're like, yeah, but, you know,
But the Kaiser is actually
I'm sorry, you got exactly what you wanted.
Exactly. Like,
Seriously.
Be cool if they casted like a racially ambiguous Hitler for the next biopic.
Bro, this is what
They get Kim Kardashian, like get like a Kardashian to play.
That'd be amazing.
This is
Get
what
Caitlyn Jenner actually. Never
that would
mind.
be
Get
so
Caitlyn
good.
Jenner to play Hitler.
there you
That'd be
go.
good. It would give
I'm
Ye
down.
a lot more ammunition, but it would be funny. It
Yeah,
would give me a good time.
But
so.
Ye isn't racist anymore. He watched 21
he's
Jump
not.
Street.
Oh,
Remember that?
yeah,
He
I
watched
do
21
remember that.
Jump Street. It cleared it cured him of his racism.
Listen, this is what you get when you're extremely lazy because, like, okay, let's say you're someone that wants to see more representation of Korean people in movies, right? So the lazy way is what they're doing is saying, okay, the new rules are you need 3 Korean people for every 3 whatever other race, right?
Yeah.
Rather than truly creating new art
where it's a Korean story, or
Yeah.
maybe it takes place in Korea, right? Or
We're putting on Korean producers in the movie industry that already exists in Korea.
We got
Exactly.
we got a
Exactly.
couple of good examples. We've got Everything Everywhere All at Once. We
Yeah.
got Parasite a couple of years ago,
And we had,
right? So that can happen.
Well,
but
how
then
about that?
those happened organically.
some of the
Right.
best movies in recent years
Yep.
have been the cast has not been that diverse.
Hmm.
Really think about that. So it's like these policies are not producing good
diverse
content.
means not white. In Hollywood, diverse means not white.
Non-white, non-man.
Yes.
Can I push back on this a bit?
Yes.
So I didn't really go out of my way to see any of those movies, and I'm not saying they're bad because I don't know. I haven't seen them. But I have no interest in seeing these movies, and when movies are touted as being diverse, and I'm at the point where you've gotten to the point where you might make a good movie that's got an all Asian cast or whatever, it's all diverse, but you've told me how terrible of a person I am this whole time that I just don't care. I don't want to watch your damn movie.
It's the advertising that
yeah.
sinks these movies
But
far
that's
more than
okay.
everything. Did anybody see Bullet Train?
Yeah,
Bullet
that
Train
was
was
good.
extremely diverse, and it was a fantastic movie because it was just fun.
But that's okay. Like, I wanted to kind of touch base on what you just said, because not every movie and piece of art is going to be made for everyone.
No,
right?
nor
Like,
should
that's
it. I get that.
completely.
But that's the way.
and it shouldn't either.
That's where we're going, though, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's Fortune 500 companies that own all these projects,
Yeah.
and they want to reach the largest audience possible. You're getting watered down art that's made for as many people as possible, which therefore makes it for almost no one at all.
It's art for the ROI.
Yeah.
Yeah. All ROI stuff. It's just, you just want to get the money back for what you put into it. And I get it, but it's, the thing is, in the past, it used to be, how do I get this to as much of my audience as possible, knowing you had a particular niche or a particular vein of the audience. But now it's just like, it's just like,
Well,
it's like they say about a multi-tool. Like, if you have a multi-tool, you have a tool that's half as good at everything, or not as good at everything, versus having like the actual tool itself is going to be the best thing for whatever you're trying to get. So get numerous tools. Don't just split up and make it like a multi-tool. It's not going to work.
I've tried to fix many things with multi-tools that
it
just
doesn't go so great.
We have one here that's like got a hammer on it. It's the worst hammer.
I've seen that one.
We
Yeah,
got
yeah,
two.
yeah.
We got two $20 ones here. One from Mikey and one from Clint Torres.
All right, Mikey says Bollywood for the win at this point.
Yeah, triple R, in the chat every day, 3 or 4 people tell me to watch Triple R, and that is there's as far as I know, there's no Americans in that movie at all, right?
Yep.
Like, so good movies, good art transcends what you look like and who you sleep with. But Hollywood doesn't care about that anymore. They care about virtue signaling, and they care about their social credit score.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is now it's an expectation to make money rather than just you've made something so good that it's going to make money, right? And now it's like, this needs to make money, this will make money, rather than just really focusing on the craft. They don't do that anymore.
And then one more from Clint Torres.
Clint says, speaking of representation, I was a bit disgusted with the lack of representation in all the human villains in the new Transformers movie. Also, beast machines don't say maximize, they say I am transformed.
Well, the lack of there was human villains in all. Wait. Wasn't
Transformers movies?
Wasn't
I think they
Patrick
were.
Dempsey a bad guy in the
Yeah.
third Transformers movie?
Yeah.
Like maybe I'm missing. Maybe
I thought he was.
I could be wrong about
I don't know if it's
that.
Patrick Dempsey. I don't know the names of the actors. But I know there was a
In
guy.
Dark
not
of the
caught up
Moon, in Dark of the Moon, I'm
Transformers.
pretty sure Patrick Dempsey is a bad guy.
I've never seen any Transformers movies.
You're fired.
What?
You're fired.
What? This was like a back in the day thing where we all had like some.
So you don't understand the meme if blank movie was made in 2007.
I
and
was
it's just
bo-
and it's just
not
Linkin
born in
Park
2007, but-
playing the end credits.
No, I remember. Yeah.
But you
Because-
never saw Transformers.
Because back in the day, we had like this hate campaign against Michael Bay because it was like, oh, movie good. Because
That's right.
explosion.
Exactly.
It's exactly right.
They're perfect.
Why do you think Oppenheimer's going to be so cool?
All right, do I have a target on my back or something?
Oh yeah.
Back off.
There's absolutely no such thing as a bad Michael Bay. That's not true. I watched as the unapologetic Michael Bay stan of this podcast.
Yeah.
I hated Ambulance, which he made with Jake Gyllenhaal in like 2020 or something like that.
heard that.
It was made during COVID. And you can tell it was made during
I didn't
COVID.
know that one.
It's bad. Isaac Gonzalez is smoking hot, but very annoying in that movie. Yahya Abdul-Mateen was probably the brightest spot of that next to Jake Gyllenhaal, but the movie in general was very annoying. And it actually, it's like, imagine if you took all of the annoyance or all of the over-the-top character traits of a Michael Bay character and made them kind of annoyingly woke. That's what the Isaac Gonzalez character is, and it's really, really annoying.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, guys. And Serge, I have one more I want to talk to you about, and I think
Great,
you'll have a
let's do
lot
it.
to say about this one. This one says Grammys are the Recording Academy says only human creators are eligible to win. That there will be no AI generated songs allowed.
Really?
Yes.
That's great. I am actually support that 100%.
On board?
Yes, 100%. And I rarely am going to get on board with things like funny. I've backed Spotify just now, and now I'm backing the Grammys. This is a new chapter of my life. But if they really said that, and that's really what it's come out, then I support that. That's like a rare W for the Grammys.
Would you support sound design using AI? So not the song, but just particular sound design.
So a lot of people maybe. I mean, a lot of
it's
people
already
do
kind
know.
of being used. Their
Right.
programs are using AI as it is, but like, well, we're talking about like ChatGPT and like using the internet to like train itself basically and get more progress. Would you
There's a $20 one right there.
would you support someone using AI to help build their song, but not the whole song itself? And while you're thinking about that, Clint says, I was referring to the rise of the beast, all the human antagonists, the hospital bill collector, the boss that took credit for work, and the potential employer that wouldn't hire due to the past performance were all white.
Yeah, it was very blatant and very obvious. I didn't point it out in my review because I couldn't remember if the hospital lady was actually a dick or if she was just like, they just kind of cut from her scene where she says like, look, you can't be here because your brother has sickle cell anemia and you're 3 months behind in their treatment. It was very clearly like, it was not just anti-white, it was anti-capitalism and anti-America in the 90s. There's the annoying line from the guy about capitalism, which nobody in the 90s would have ever said. It was extremely on the nose and stupid. But I tried to I gave them the benefit of the
So
I gave them the benefit of the doubt because they hired Michael Kelly for the reveal at the end for G.I. Joe, and I really like Michael Kelly as an actor, so I kind of gave them a pass on that one. But you're not wrong, buddy. It was very, very blatant and annoying. All right, so again, pose that question again, Serge.
So there are a lot of services in music already where you can go and buy samples. There are some that are literally people have written a song. Essentially, like it's just in different layers, and when you make a track, you stem it out into all the different channels. Like there are many channels involved in the tracks, and in some music, like a lot of like pop alternative rock, it's like 140 channels. Not even kidding. So you already can like it's not AI at that point, but it's like letting somebody else do the creative control. With an AI, it's not that much different. I don't think. The only difference I think is that like without the AI, it was a person that actually made it, that was actually making money from it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I feel like all the AI I've used to make music and actually have done anything with, it's all machine learning stuff. So it does an okay job, but you still need, at this point, you still, like ChatGPT and stuff, it's not perfect. You still need a human being to go over it and make sure that it's going to sound good to our ears. Because like it's not always going to be perfect. You know, it's not going to be like foolproof. And it's rarely, in my experience, has it been like, oh, you know, the AI will just take care of it. Oh, we're done. Like now the AI can do all this stuff. So am I a fan of like, this is like protecting a craft. This is something that I think is important to do, because if we just say, oh, well, an AI can do it, then are we just letting go of music? Are we going to be touring on saying like, oh, well, I'm not just a live musician, but like I'm a human musician. Like it's like, I think that's not right now, but I'm thinking 20 years in the future,
right.
that's going to be a thing. And if I can see, if the Grammys, they also could be done in 20 years, who knows? A lot of these award shows or these award shows are kind of looking like they're in their dying throes or death throes. But
Promise?
Pardon me?
Promise?
It looks like, look at the Oscars.
Well, I mean,
like
yeah, because the award shows used to signify accomplishment, but now that we have we have social
Quotas.
credit scores already with
Yeah.
like YouTube views, like ratios, subscriptions, right? So it's like that is what like Gangnam Style's view count on YouTube is a test. It's the only award it needs.
That dude still sells out arenas.
Yeah,
I know.
Size still.
He's massive.
Size banger.
And imagine all the money he's
dude.
still making from that one song.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Racks,
That guy's so cool. But that's my point is he doesn't need, like, the Grammy probably means nothing to him. He's like, go on YouTube, pull up this song. You're like, holy, how many views?
Yep.
Right? So Yeah, the whole industry's kind of fallen. It's kind of not, I want to say it's dying, but it's kind of like it's in the cocoon right now and it's going to reemerge as something different.
At least the awards, this awards thing, this whole like, you're right. I think the awards thing is just like, but I mean, honestly, if the Grammys going to be the ones to be like, that still has his name right now, if they're going to be like, hey, actually, we are going to say like, no, we're not going to accept AI music, like, good. I think there's nothing bad about that. If you're gonna win an award and get like nominated, winning a Grammy is still a thing. As a musician, it's still a thing. If you win a Grammy, if you get up on the Billboard, it's a thing. It's still a thing. You'll get work from that. But I'm surprised I'm backing the Grammys. I support that.
A work that contains no human authorship is not eligible in any category, they said, under the new AI protocols they released on Friday. The rule is set following the semi-annual Academy's Board of Trustees meeting. I bet you that is just the snobbiest meeting in the history of...
Right. Probably was. But it says no human authorship? So you can still use machine learning and AI in the production of the track, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Because there's so much that's already been done that's essentially machine learning and et cetera in production right now today.
They said the news arrived shortly after Paul McCartney announced on Tuesday that a forthcoming Last Beatles record has been composed using AI by extracting John Lennon's voice from an old demo. I saw the whole process of them like extracting the voice from this tape, where they have to use different algorithms to remove all of the background sound in the tape, and it's actually kind of incredible. It's an incredible feat of technological achievement, but it's like, does it need to happen?
No, absolutely not.
I don't think he needs more money. I don't think the Beatles need more albums personally, but you know.
To me, the entertainment celebrities that we currently have are almost like unwilling to let go of power, and like I'm seeing that the deals that people are like. I don't think it was Bruce Willis, but this is what came to mind, where he's selling his likeness to the movie studios so they can just
the voice of Darth Vader.
Yeah. James Earl Jones.
We're not giving new people and young adults and kids the opportunity.
No. Actually, I disagree with that, because I think what that is look, the same thing happens in skating, where a lot of the pros have been pro for a very long time. That's not their fault. That's the fault of a new generation for either not being good enough or not capturing enough attention. So if a movie studio wants to make an AI movie with Bruce Willis, it's not his fault that that some other actor has not come up and proved to be a bankable enough action star that they can fill that role for them.
True.
Like, why that doesn't compute for me.
But this is where it starts. Right? This is where it starts.
You mentioned Black Mirror earlier. no spoilers, but I'll just say one of the episodes a little related to
Interesting.
this. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a $20 super chat there from Unusable Alpaca.
Alrighty. Unusable says, as far as the Astros go, there's always been sign stealing in baseball. We did that when I played in high school. Also, if I'm not mistaken, the Yankees and or Red Sox did the same thing, but just didn't win the championship.
The game, right? It is what it is. Now they have the thing where they program the pitch on their arm, like they use like a computer thing to do it now.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Baseball's full of all sorts of stupid new rules.
Yeah, I've never
really
liked solid baseball.
Then they get the pitch clock and everything that ruins everything. It's stupid. Dude, like, do you think this is one of those things that will eventually, like, because I think like a lot of artists, there was a thing the other day where Christopher Nolan says he actually thinks that AI could be an interesting tool for filmmaking one day. Now, he doesn't have to worry about it. Like, the Directors Guild just signed a new deal and basically said, like, look, AI is not a person. AI cannot get credit for directing a movie. They don't have as much to fear from it as, say, the Writers Guild does, because given the crop of Hollywood writers we're seeing today, they're a lot more at risk of losing their jobs than a director is.
I think video game dialogue artists are probably one of the first industries to go, because it's truly background stuff that won't matter. Like, if you're writing dialogue for background characters, you're still like you're not trying to take the focus away from the main character. But like video games, completely different. If you walk up to like a random NPC has a little farmhouse, right, they're going to talk to you. And having AI replace whoever's job that was originally, right, of course they're going to do that, because now you can have 10 times as many characters saying the same dumb stuff.
And it could be dynamic characters too. Okay, I'm kind of interested in that.
So
I'm kind of okay with
I think the writers for like movies, Hollywood, and music, they're fine for probably years and years and years. The video game industry is where we're going to see the very first real shakeups with AI replacing jobs.
I would say
that's just my opinion. But
no, I agree. Actually, I think within Foley, people don't know I don't know if anyone knows what Foley is. Foley is, people probably do. Foley is like where you make the sounds that are on the actual screen, because in order to pick up the voices of the actors, you can't have but them making moves with a whole bunch of really loud stuff. It'll just sound ridiculous. So Foley, maybe, I think AI could do a pretty good job of that. You'd obviously, the thing about it still is you'd have to like look over its shoulder.
Yeah.
And so you'd still have to make sure it's not just making stuff like that doesn't make any sense. Because as a human, the uncanny valley is like always right there. It's always so close. It's right next to everything that you do. And like, you know, if an AI saw me doing this and it made it sound like I was like squishing,
Yeah.
moving a bunch of money around here, all this cash we got. If an AI made it sound like I was like putting my
Sounded like
hand
a-
in Jello or something like
yeah,
that,
like
or moving around paper,
ham sandwich or something.
yeah, everyone that's human will be like, what? Like, that doesn't work. And that's a lot of the problems that I've seen like within music that's done by, again, AI. Everyone uses the word AI as if it's AI. It's still machine learning. But
Right.
I don't know. It's again, you always have to be over its shoulder. So it's like, until we actually get to that point, I feel like the debate's going to be maybe more decided. People will have more of an opinion on it on either side. And like you said, it'll get into more things that are interesting to most people. You know what I mean? Like be video games, whatever, something that you're interested in. It'll get into stuff that everybody's interested in. And then we'll start to see more development on it. I don't know. I just am happy that someone that has some clout like the Grammys is saying something like that, because it's going to be a thing. It's already a thing. It's going to be even bigger than it is now.
All right, guys. We got some super chats there, do we not?
Yes, we have a decent amount. I think we left off with Shane H. Wilder. It says, "Isn't Brett Light just a Brent? Nobody wants that."
Look, Brent is not a thing. That's not. Nobody names it. If you named your kid Brent, you likely sneezed while you were naming them Brett, and they just wrote it down on the birth certificate wrong. That's my take on that. Brent is bad. Brett with one T, worse. Like, at least Brent sounds like you completed something. You completed it wrong. It's gross sounding. I'm kidding. But like, look, Brett with two T's. It's the only way to spell it. And the fact that they named a hurricane Brett with one T is just, it's just wrong.
Well,
man.
it's after they called you, they were asking for your permission.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
so-
I was like, sorry, you're gonna have to give me a $20 million contract
They're
exclusive.
they're just like, just take one T away. No one will care.
Exactly.
There you go.
Oh, baby. F4?
Can't wait for Wyatt Derp says Brentwood, California is a place I've been to.
Yeah,
Brentwood.
it's nice.
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
beautiful.
It's a nice place.
Beautiful out there.
Very pretty place.
I like. I've been to like Antioch and that
Antioch,
part of
yeah.
California.
Antioch Hills, yeah. Yeah, Brentwood's, yeah, it's right.
It was a long time ago when I was there. I don't know what
Right.
it's like now.
It has changed significantly.
Kai says Adam Cast IRL.
There is no Adam here.
Yeah, I don't know. Kai again says this is 4chan. Sparta kicks never in asterisks. Where are we?
Bobcat.
Some movies for everyone, like the Fast and Furious movies. Everyone
Facts.
loves them. Anyone who says otherwise is a synth.
Yeah, or they're lying. Or they just
True.
don't know what's good for them.
True,
If
family.
and if they've never seen it, they're probably not actually a human being. They're probably an alien. Not real people. Go watch the honest trailer for Fast 10. It's really, really good.
I will.
The best part about it is whenever they do a Fast and the Furious honest trailer, we know I don't know if you guys ever watch honest trailers, they do like the character names at the end and they make it a joke. They always do car puns. For this
Nice.
one, it's like Letty Set Go. In this one, it's called it's like Car Wars 10 Return of the Jetta.
Oh, that's a good one. Car
It's
Wars.
great. Well, they call all the Fast and the Furious honest trailers call them Car Wars, but
like it.
it's really good. They call him Car Drago because it's
Wow,
got Jason Momoa in it.
Wow,
It's
that's
incredible.
great.
The last of my kind says if Tim is sick, it's the perfect time to do the Ian and Seamus religious talk. I agree.
You wanna film
I think Ian is out of town though, isn't he? Not?
Yes, Ian is out of town, actually,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But if that was reality, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna sit this one out. That's all good for
It
me.
would be a good conversation, but it's one that's gonna go. Dude,
It'll be
go.
laborious.
It'll probably be like a 6-hour show.
Yes. probably.
And everybody's like, by like hour 3, they're like, are they still going?
Yeah.
I got it. Like, I can only watch this in waves. I can't do it all at once. When you're part of the discussion, it's a lot different than like a lot of times here. Like segments will go long, and people are like move on to the next topic. Where like if I'm doing my job, I should be moving people along. But a lot of times you get really into what you're talking about, and you don't want to move on. You want to keep having that discussion, but that's not always necessarily the best thing.
Kai says, "Where's Ghost Girl? Hope she's upstairs eating my neighbors."
Ghost Girl right now is doing Alex Stein's podcast tonight live, and then after that, the day after, she is doing an episode of Drinking Bros, so a Barstool podcast. So she is jet setting around, spreading the good word about pop culture crisis. I was like, we need to do a thing where she's like, she comes to the door with like a book that says PCC. It's like,
that's funny.
have you heard of the good word about our Lord and
Have you
Savior
heard of the
pop
good
culture
word of
crisis?
Brett?
Yeah, like our Lord and Savior pop culture crisis. Like, I think she might consider that blasphemous though, so we probably can't do that.
Yeah,
but,
that's definitely.
she's out spreading the word.
Tacty Platty says, "Serge, sorry to bother you, but could you check your DMs?"
I will do that.
Kai says,
Thank you, Tacty.
"Put Christian Bale back in the crisis party." Equit.
I will. I've got Bale there. I've got Alec Baldwin there yelling at his daughter. I've got Bale yelling at the guy on set. I've got Mel Gibson yelling at his ex-wife. You know, see, here's the thing. There's two types of people when it comes to the crisis party. It's like some people really, really hate that it's like obnoxious and over the top. And then there's other people that love it mainly because they love watching me upset everyone and annoy everyone here. So I tend to work to promote the people who want to watch me annoy everyone because they're like, oh, why don't you make it like a song or a melody? And I'm like, yeah, I could. But what people really want to see is me look happy by scaring everyone.
Yeah, fun fact, the first speaker you set up was too good, so you had to get a worse one to achieve the desired effect.
Exactly.
DD Mega Doodoo 97
Nice.
says, "Boys cast has commenced. The Riz levels are so high, the ladies are getting restraining orders."
Restraining orders. That's a good one.
That is good. That is good.
Putting on the Riz.
Yeah.
And then Gordon with the last chat here says, "Mill's account was just suspended. I guess she found out." Wow.
Oh,
Good.
man.
Good. Zion, just get away from her, man. Run far, far away.
Yep. All right, guys. Before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? We got one more $2 super chat from Kai. Says, "I'd rather she were eating the neighbors." Well, we can't. That's not healthy. We can't have her eat the neighbors. Guys, like this video, subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Again, thank you very much. Serge, let everyone know where they can find you.
Hey guys, I am Serge.com. Spell it out. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet, except for Discord. I know you guys want me to be on Discord. I'm thinking about it still. Yeah, I'm mostly. I haven't been active on Twitter a lot, so follow me on like Instagram or like check out my SoundCloud, which again also all under @Serge.com.
Perfect. We got one more super chat here from High Voltage 75. Says, "Do you think they'll find the missing Titanic tourist submersill?" Yeah, we
So
didn't.
I don't know.
It didn't really
wasn't-
fit. It didn't really fit for our show. But have you been following this?
Yeah.
little
So
bit.
it's not. It's not a tourist submarine,
No.
as far as I'm aware.
like a private
You
thing?
can pay for it, but it's
Yeah.
like $250,000.
Right. No, what they were doing, because I read about this maybe a few months ago, they're creating the most detailed 3D scan of the wrecks. They've been taking multiple trips
shoot.
there and
Wow.
back. So I knew about this.
People were like happy that these people were gone because they were like upset that like rich people are. They're like, well,
It's a science. They're scientists.
Yeah, it's not
Dude,
about-
that's like a terrifying story for anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the submarine only goes, I think it goes slower than walking speed, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. And you have to deal with compression sickness. You can't just come up immediately.
And they've already
to-
been missing for, I think, 3 days. It's not looking good.
No, it was
but-
24 hours last night, and then
Oh.
it'll be 48 hours this evening. They have 96 hours in total
Of
of like, life
oxygen.
support, so
Yeah.
they've done about a little more than half now.
Yeah,
48.
dude, it's
And
sad.
72, then
So they weren't.
96,
Yeah, they're
so
not
4
like
days.
just rich d-bags. They're
No.
Yeah.
trying to actually do something.
No, there's also
Anyway.
that one dude who's like the famous. I don't know if he's famous, but he's the guy's been on Joe Rogan's podcast. Oftentimes, he's like the Wild Times podcast.
He's been on there?
yeah.
Oh, no way. I missed that.
Yeah, he talks about animals and stuff like that. He's an animals guy. He was just talking about it, and that's like where I heard about this. And he was supposed to be on this exact expedition, and it didn't go. But yeah, I don't know why people are happy about it. It's not like, it's just weird to wish.
I think it's
ill
just
on
kind of
anybody, man.
ironic is what people are kind of finding funny, is that another wreck at where the Titanic wrecked. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of...
That's so hilarious.
I think that's what
That's
it
like
is,
one of the
though. I think
funniest
that's all
things
it
I've ever
is.
Yeah. That's
It's depressing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's depressing
Yeah.
to believe making that joke.
All right, Kellen, let everyone know where they can find you.
You guys can follow me at KellenPDL, mainly active on Twitter, but I just made a Kick. So go follow me at KellenPDL on Kick. I don't even know. I probably won't stream, but I have the tag now and no one else can get it. So thanks, guys.
All right, my friend, let everyone know where they can find you.
Obviously, you can find me on Discord as the Lord of the Discord. You can find me on timcast.com. Click the read tab. You can find my articles. You can find Hannah Claire's articles and everybody else in the newsroom. I am also on Twitter. I like yelling at people.
Yes, you do.
At Man of Bert. I'm also on Instagram at Man of Bert. I'm trying to find my niche on Instagram. I haven't really figured it out. I'm a word person, so I'm not an image video type of person. I'm trying to figure it out.
I'm an Instagram guy more than
Yeah.
a Twitter guy.
Yeah,
Mine is
same.
mostly just reposting funny videos, and obviously, I post skating content there, so it's a little bit different.
You
but,
should
yeah.
just start a blog. Just your thoughts.
So be a writer.
No, he's saying sing them out loud. Like, make videos.
No,
of
not
your
a
thoughts.
vlog.
Oh,
A
make
vlog.
videos
of my-
I think you
Man.
should make a vlog.
Or just post
Nobody wants
screenshots
to-
of Twitter, like your phone notes.
Oh, they're saying cringe and cute of the day. I do have cringe and cute of the day. Should I do them? The cringe of the day was actually a follow-up from yesterday, guys. I'm going to show it anyways. So today, if you saw yesterday, did you see BB Rexa getting tagged in the face by the phone?
Wait, okay, so
No.
can I, before you show the video, it was really funny because a day before that happened, everyone was saying, oh my God, she's only got $6 concert tickets. Like, she's truly doing everyone a service. I'm like, imagine the people are going to go to a concert and only pay $6. Well, here you go. You get people that throw phones at you.
Yeah.
So,
True.
Well, I'm not going to show the video again, but the guy's been charged. They found the guy. It says the man who threw the
Nice.
phone at BB Rexa admits that he purposely trying to hit her because he thought it would be funny.
looks
That's
like-
his actual quote.
he looks like Sam Smith from 5 years
He
ago.
does.
It's kind of base, dude.
Like, it's not base. That's not cool. Don't throw phones at celebrities.
Yeah,
It's not-
I guess that's. I
Don't
guess
do
that's
that.
good.
This would hurt because, like, you drop it on the concrete now, and most modern phones, like, they can handle a drop or two.
For the
Like,
most
this
part,
is gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, there's
like,
some weight to
It is. It still is kind of funny.
Metal and glass.
I find it. I found it cringy. It's a follow up to cringe of the day, and I also
okay.
do have cute of the day. So let's send some people off with some cute images. This is from Chops on Twitter. I disavow anything in the foreground of this image. I love it.
It's
You
so
can
funny.
see it here.
That's
So
fantastic.
he says Thanos and Havoc's previous cute of the day sister Chloe on the left at work with me, and their a-hole cat brother Alistair Meowly on the right. So there's Chloe at work.
Pop Culture Crisis loves our farmers.
Yes, it's an adorable farmer right there. He looks
Support the
very
farmers.
happy to be at work.
Oh, yeah.
Does he not, ladies and gentlemen?
That's awesome.
And the cat is adorable too, but the dog looks very happy. The dog's, you know.
Hey.
You know,
Hey,
it's
it's-
what it is. So we've got a couple more here. We'll do two more. So this is from Jamie Serber on Twitter, Ruby the German Shepherd mix, and Wally the Shih Tzu. Adorable.
Oh.
That is adorable.
Yeah, that is.
And then look at that thing.
Oh, Wally's the winner, though.
Oh, it's
Wow.
adorable. And
That's Riz.
let's do one more. It says, this is my kitty Buffy. She is a slayer of vampires, of course, and mice and birds. Now I just have to find her angels so we can make adorable kitten slayers.
Aw.
That
True
is
that.
adorable.
Oh,
Adorable.
look at that.
That's like a National Geographic photo, that
It
third
is.
one.
All right, guys, there it is. If you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dastovic on both of those shows, on both of those platforms. Pop Culture Crisis is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you would like to listen to this podcast, it's on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. I don't take any episodes down. I'm not Joe Rogan. Got him. If you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Later.
Bye.
Deuces.